The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 876, Interstellar Rural Life Ziv. The Su family was as warm as usual. Su Qingni and Su Qingni were now engaged, and Su Hongxin and Zhao Hunan were happy to see them together. Zhao Hunan even joked that Su Qingni was the child bride of the Su family. The family of four was sitting at the table eating dinner, when the servant ran in with a frightened look and reported, "Mr. and Mrs., the second young lady is back." Su Hongxin frowned, and the other three people's faces changed drastically. "She still knows how to come back," Su Hongxin said unhappily. He had always thought that Su Qingni was dead. But Su Qingni was not dead, which meant that she was actually captured by the Stark pirates. Su Hongxin could imagine what a girl would experience if she fell into the hands of the Stark pirates. Therefore, he didn't want his daughter to come back. Wouldn't this bring shame to the Su family? Zhao Hunan and Su Qingni also thought of this problem, and their faces showed a disgusted expression when they saw dirty things. Su Qingni was uneasy. Su Qingni actually came back. Would she find out that the Stark pirate who was chasing her was her mother? Su Qingni had already recognized Wei Rushuang. How could the kind-hearted Su Qingni not recognize her biological mother? Even though her biological mother was a Stark pirate, she believed that her biological mother had her own difficulties. And wasn't her biological mother also working hard to get away from being a Stark pirate? She also asked herself to help those who wanted to get away from being a Stark pirate to work in the Su family company and live a normal life. This shows that her biological mother wanted to turn over a new leaf. As her biological daughter, how could she not help her mother? Although she concealed her reunion with her biological mother from Su's father, mother and brother, it was because her biological mother was worried that her identity would not be accepted by the Su family, and that her identity as a Stark pirate would implicate Su Qingni. Her biological mother said that she would recognize her after she was cleared of all charges. She was just hiding it from the Su family temporarily, and she didn't mean to deceive them. I hope Su Qingni doesn't know about her biological mother and doesn't reveal her identity. Why let such a person come back? Get rid of her, Su Qingni said. Zhao Hunan said, the Su family doesn't have any second daughter. Give that person some money and drive her away. The door was slammed open, and a team of federal soldiers rushed in first, followed by a young woman in military uniform. The family of four was shocked by the momentum. Su Hongxin was about to protest, but suddenly saw the young woman's appearance and was shocked. You are Qingni. His eyes fell on Su Qingni's shoulder straps, the rank of Major General. Su Qingni is a general? In the past 10 years, she has actually joined the army? The Su family has a general. With the support of the military, the Su family can take another step forward. Just like the Holt family, which ranks first in the business world, can always occupy the first position because of the marriage with the Walter family, so it has the support of the military. The expression on Su Hongxin's face changed immediately, his frown relaxed, and a smile appeared on his face, like a father welcoming his daughter home after not seeing her for many years. But his wife and son could not understand his feelings, and looked at Su Qingni with disgust. Even though Su Qingni saw Su Qingni's shoulder badges and knew what they meant, it did not reduce Su Qingni's dislike for Su Qingni. Su Qingni, you are not welcome in the Su family, Su Qingni said coldly. Su Qingni glanced at him coldly and said, I have never thought about returning to the Su family. This time I came to the Su family to let Miss Su Qingni meet someone. Who? Su Qingni had a bad feeling in her heart. Su Qingni waved her hand, and two soldiers brought Wei Rushuang in. Mom! Su Qingni blurted out, but immediately covered her mouth with both hands. Even if she didn't call her this, the Su family could see that Wei Rushuang was Su Qingni's biological mother. The two mother and daughter looked so much alike, like twin white lotuses. Su Qingni, what are you doing? Let go of your aunt, Su Qingni shouted angrily. This is his future mother-in-law. Su Qingni sneered and said to Su Qingni, you want me to let her go? Are you colluding with the pirates? I'm sorry, I have to take you back for investigation. What are you talking about? How could I be colluding with the pirates? Don't use your power to frame me just because you are a general now, Su Qingni said. Su Qingni made a puzzled expression, but you call the pirates ant, so what else is that if not collusion with the pirates? I didn't. Su Qingni yelled angrily, and then reacted, "You said she was a pirate." Su Qingni, congratulations, your brain is not completely broken. Su Qingni, impossible. She looks like a weak woman, how could she be a pirate? I'm not a weak woman, I'm not only a pirate, but also the leader of the pirate group, much more powerful than you, a pretty boy. The Su family looked at Wei Rushuang in surprise. Su Qingni shouldn't lie, after all, there are so many soldiers here, and the military will not let Su Qingni frame innocent people. So the woman in front of him is really a star pirate? And Su Qingni is actually the daughter of a star pirate? The faces of the Su family all changed. Su Hongxin and Zhao Hunan couldn't help but walk a few steps to the side, keeping a distance from Su Qingni. Su Qingping's face was also very ugly, but he stepped forward and hugged Su Qingni tightly. "Qingmi, no matter whose daughter you are, I love you." "Qingping." Zhao Hunan shouted disapprovingly. How much she liked Su Qingni in the past, how much she hated it now. Zhao Hunan, who claimed to be a superior person, hated inferior people the most. At the beginning, because the original owner was born in an orphanage, Zhao Hunan hated the original owner even if she was excellent. Not to mention that Su Qingmi was the daughter of a star pirate. She wanted to get rid of Su Qingmi, and she didn't allow her son to associate with the daughter of a star pirate. Su Hongxin also didn't approve of his son marrying the daughter of a star pirate, and said to Su Qingping in a stern voice, "Let go, get behind me." Su Qingping didn't let go, relying on the fact that he was the only heir of Su Hongxin. He felt that he could be more willful. "Dad, Qingmi grew up in our family. She doesn't know that this star pirate is her mother, and she can't have any connection with the star pirate. As long as we don't admit it, Qingmi is just the daughter and daughter-in-law of our Su family." Su Qingping's mind turned quickly, and he spoke in defense of Su Qingni. Zhao Hunan snorted coldly, "She just called her mother in person." Su Qingping explained, "That's because the master looks too much like Qingmi, so Qingmi made a mistake and gave the wrong person." Su Qingni laughed, "Su Qingping, you are really good at lying. Mr. Su, I wonder what you think of having a son who defends his own enemies." Su Hongxin asked sharply, "What enemy? Did Su Qingmi do something that is not good for the Su family?" Chapter 877, Interstellar Rural Life XV. Su Qingni threw a document to Su Hongxin. It contained a list of space pirates that Wei Rushuang had arranged to join the Su family through Su Qingni and Su Qingping. These space pirates were carefully selected by Wei Rushuang. They were all very capable. Over the past 10 years, they had all climbed to the top of the Su family company. They had people in every department. As long as they united, they could undermine the Su family company. Su Hongxin broke out in a cold sweat when he saw the names on the document. This was a sign that the Su family company was going to change its owner. He glared at Wei Rushuang and Su Qingni and said coldly, "What a pair of mother and daughter. I am letting a wolf into the house." "Dad, I don't." Su Qingni hurriedly tried to explain, but was interrupted by Su Hongxin. "I don't have a daughter like you." "Dad, why do you say that?" Su Qingping roared. Su Hongxin looked at Su Qingping as if he was looking at a piece of barbecued pork. The Su family was now facing the current crisis, and half of it was due to the credit of this son. "Dad, Qingmi is innocent." Su Qingping was still speaking for Su Qingni. Su Hongxin couldn't bear it, so he took a few steps forward and slapped Su Qingping. Su Qingping's mouth was broken, and he stared at Su Hongxin in disbelief. Su Hongxin threw the information in his hand to Su Qingping. "Look at what stupid things you have done." Su Qingping looked at the information angrily. He wanted to see why his father hid him. After reading the information, Su Qingping's back was also covered in cold sweat. However, in his heart, Su Qingmi was the best. Even if Su Qingmi made a mistake, he would explain it for Su Qingmi himself. It was the same at this moment. "Dad, Qingmi must not know the true intentions of these people. It must be this woman who used Qingmi." Su Hongxin couldn't help but feel disappointed with his son. He was actually confused by a woman like this. If the company is handed over to him, I'm afraid it will become someone else's in the future. How about having another son and raising him? Anyway, he and Zhao Hunan are only over 100 years old now, and it won't take decades to raise another child. Su Hongxin looked at Zhao Hunan. As expected of a couple who have been together for nearly 100 years, Zhao Hunan understood what Su Hongxin meant at once. Zhao Hunan nodded to Su Hongxin. Anyway, she didn't have to give birth to the child herself, she just provided an egg. Su Qingni didn't know that his parents had given up on him, and he was still holding Su Qingni to speak for him. Su Qingni didn't want to listen to Su Qingping's nonsense, so she gave an order directly. 2 soldiers stepped forward to pull Su Qingping away and grabbed Su Qingni. Su Qingni was horrified and cried, "I am innocent, let me go, let me go. We have to investigate whether you are innocent or not." Su Qingni said, "At least you are not innocent in the matter of me being hunted by the Stark Pirates." If Su Qingni hadn't complained to Wei Rushuang that Su Hongxin loved his biological daughter more than her, and revealed that Su Hongxin was going to give the original body 5% of the shares, how could Wei Rushuang want the original body to die? "What? You were hunted by the Stark Pirates because of them?" Su Hongxin asked in surprise. "Yes." Su Qingni replied, "Because you want to give me 5% of the shares. Money can attract people. Wei Rushuang has long regarded everything in the Su family as hers." Su Hongxin and Zhao Hunan looked at Wei Rushuang angrily. This woman was the culprit who caused their family to be in this situation. If this woman had not replaced the information of the fertility center, how could they bring the daughter of the Stark Pirate home to raise her? How could they let their son be related to the daughter of the Stark Pirate? She actually dared to covet everything in the Su family. Su Hongxin gritted his teeth. He would find someone to well entertain Wei Rushuang in the interstellar prison. "Take her away." Su Qingni gave an order. The soldiers dragged Wei Rushuang and Su Qingni away. Su Qingni cried for help, "Brother, save me, I don't want to be arrested." She was worried that Su Qingni would take revenge on her and blame her for all the things that happened to her. But she obviously did nothing, and she just complained a little. She didn't want to go to jail. Once she was in jail, everything was ruined. "Let Qingmi go, she is innocent." Su Qingping was so distressed when he saw Su Qingmi crying that he didn't care about anything else and rushed forward to intercept the soldiers. "Let her go." He shouted and made a move. Su Qingni walked over and kicked. Su Qingping was kicked by Su Qingni and flew backwards. His back hit the wall hard and fell slowly. Fortunately, the wall of the Su family's house was broken and it didn't break. But Su Qingping was not so lucky. 2 ribs were broken, and he couldn't get up because of the pain. Su Qingni said coldly, "If you dare to stop the Ministry of War from enforcing the law again, you will be arrested as an accomplice of the Stark Pirates." She had wanted to beat Su Qingping up for a long time. Su Qingni felt that Su Qingping was as disgusting as the male protagonist in the Korean tragedy TV series she watched. This kick was given to him on behalf of the original owner. Seeing Su Qingni was about to leave, Su Hongxin hurriedly called her, "Qingni, go home when you have time." Su Qingni glanced at Zhao Hunan and said, "No need, no one in the Su family welcomes me except you, and I don't want to come back and annoy people. If you want to see me in the future, let's meet outside." Zhao Hunan snorted coldly. Even if Su Qingni is a general, so what? She is still not liked by others. She doesn't want to have such a daughter. Su Hongxin frowned when he saw Zhao Hunan's reaction. This wife was brought up too stupidly. She didn't even know her daughter's current identity. Is it that many families want to win over? Su Hongxin wanted to say something else, but when he saw Su Qingni's cold eyes, he swallowed the words to persuade Su Qingni to go home. Just do what Su Qingni said first. At least Su Qingni still gave him some face as a father. What if Su Qingni was annoyed and didn't even give her father's face? Then he wouldn't be able to find anyone to cry to. After Su Qingni left, Su Hongxin no longer cared about his injured son. After all, there were servants at home and a treatment cabin bought at a high price. The most important thing now is the company. He has to go to the company to take back the power and drive those pirates out of the company. The matter of taking back the power went smoothly. Because before the pirates could make a fuss, the federal army came and arrested the pirates. These people have lives in their hands and will be punished according to federal law. Those employees who colluded with the pirates and had a good relationship with them did not dare to make a fuss, for fear that they would also be arrested. In this way, the company did not become chaotic, allowing Su Hongxin to successfully control the company. The camera turned back to Su Qingni's side. She avenged her original body. Wei Rushuang and a group of pirates were thrown into prison for extremely vicious criminals. There, the pirates will have a very exciting life. Chapter 878, Interstellar Rural Lives v. Su Qingni was released after being detained for only 2 days. Su Qingni was just trying to scare her and avenge her original self. However, Su Qingni's future life will not be as good as before. Her life experience was revealed, and she was no longer the princess held in the palm of the Su family's hand. Su Qingni took back the 5% shares given to Su Qingni and kicked her out of the house. All her friends and suitors in the past stayed away from her. Although she was beautiful and kind, she was very popular with men. But without her proud family background and rich dowry, who would be willing to marry her? Not to mention that she also had a biological mother who was a space pirate. Su Qingni felt like the sky was falling. Fortunately, she still had a brother and lover. Su Qingni never left her, arranged a place for her to live, and accompanied her all the time. But her parents no longer recognized her, and did not allow Su Qingni to marry her. What should she do? Should she become Su Qingni's mistress for no reason? Brother, let me leave. Su Qingni retreated to advance. The experience during this period made Su Qingni begin to transform, gradually turning into her biological mother Wei Rushiang. You want to leave me? Su Qingni asked in disbelief. Su Qingni made a painful expression, tears in her eyes, and she was particularly lovable. I don't want to leave my brother. But I don't want to be a mistress. Brother, being a mistress will make people look down on me. I don't want my former friends to say that I don't cherish myself. Su Qingni hugged Su Qingni and comforted her. I won't let you be a mistress, Qingni. Let's go to register for marriage now. Su Qingni's eyes flashed, and she said worriedly, But Mom and Dad don't agree to our marriage. Don't worry about them. Su Qingni said. He is fearless. He is the only heir of the Su family. It is wrong for his parents to treat him too much. As long as he marries Su Qingni, the rice is cooked, and his parents have to recognize it even if they don't want to. Especially after he and Su Qingni get married, he can go to the fertility center with a marriage certificate to have a child. For the sake of their grandson, his parents should be able to accept his engagement with Qingni, right? Let's go register for marriage now. Su Qingni took Su Qingni out the door. Xingji no longer has household registration books, and their optical computers are connected to their identity documents, so it is very convenient to register for marriage. After completing the marriage registration, the two went to the gestational center. They were going to bring their grandson to visit Su Qingni and Zhao Hunan. With a child, they would have a greater chance of being accepted. As a result, as soon as they arrived at the door of the gestational center, they saw Su Qingni and Zhao Hunan walking out. Behind them were three servants, one of whom was holding a baby who looked like he was just 1 month old, and the other two were holding baby supplies. Su Qingni and Su Qingni's faces suddenly changed. Su Qingni stepped forward with a dark face and asked, Mom and Dad, why are you here at the gestational center? Who is that? He pointed at the baby. Su Qingni did not answer, but asked, Then why did you come to the fertility center? Su Qingni replied, Qingni and I just registered our marriage, and now I come to the fertility center to conceive a child. Su Qingni and Zhao Hunan looked at each other, glad that they had made the right decision. The big one was useless, they could raise the small one. He actually registered his marriage with Su Qingni without their consent. Did he really think that he was the only heir of the Su family, and that they had to pinch their noses and recognize Su Qingni? That was absolutely impossible. Su Qingni said, Since you are married and have your own home, move out of the Su family's ancestral home. When you come out of the fertility center, go back to the ancestral home to move your luggage. I will let the servants pack up all your things. You can take everything that belongs to you, and I won't give you anything that doesn't belong to you. Su Qingni and Su Qingni were dumbfounded. What does this mean? Su Qingni and Zhao Hunan are going to kick Su Qingni out as well? They don't want Su Qingni, the only heir? No, maybe Su Qingni is no longer the only heir of the Su family. Su Qingni and Su Qingni's eyes were all on the baby, and a bad guess emerged in their minds. Sure enough, noticing their gaze, Su Qingni revealed the secret. This is your younger brother Su Qingni. In the future, your mother and I will focus more on taking care of the child. It's also thanks to you that you have grown up and don't need your parents to take care of you. Su Qingni and Su Qingni's faces became even uglier. Sure enough, they guessed it right. Su Qingni and Zhao Hunan were too cruel. They gave up Su Qingni directly. Mom and Dad, you can't do this. Su Qingni shouted to his parents with a pale face. Su Qingni looked at Su Qingni coldly and said, In your heart, a woman is more important than your parents. How can we expect you to be filial to us? Since you are unfilial, why can't we have another filial son? I don't want the Su family's company and industry to be taken advantage of by others in the end. No, You can't do this to me, you can't. Su Qingping couldn't stand the blow and yelled. Su Hongxin and Zhao Hunan despised him for being embarrassing, so they simply left Su Qingping and took a car home. Su Qingping's eyes were red, he was really abandoned by his parents. After being kicked out of the Su family, what else did he have? How could he gain a foothold in the upper class? He would become a laughingstock in the upper class. He didn't know that he had already become a laughingstock in the upper class. In the end, Su Qingping and Su Qingni did not go to the fertility center to apply for childbearing, but chased Su Hongxin and Zhao Hunan back to the Su family. However, the Su family actually cancelled their right to enter the ancestral home, and the two were stopped outside the gate. They didn't wait for long. The servant sent out Su Qingping's gift, and passed Su Hongxin's words to Su Qingping. The Su family has no daughter-in-law of an improper origin. Since Su Qingping stubbornly chose Su Qingni, he is not a member of the Su family. Su Hongxin will announce this matter to the public, and Su Qingping and Su Qingni should not seek benefits for themselves outside in the name of the Su family. However, considering that Su Qingping is of the Su family's bloodline, Su Hongxin will not take back the 10% of shares that he has given to Su Qingping. The dividends from this 10% of shares are enough to ensure that Su Qingping and Su Qingni live a rich and luxurious life. As for the rest, the two of them should stop dreaming, otherwise Su Hongxin will take back the shares in Su Qingping's hands. Su Qingping knew his father's cold-bloodedness and knew that he could only do what Su Hongxin said now. He didn't dare to make a fuss, because Su Hongxin would really take back his 10% of shares. After all, Su Hongxin now has another son, and he is no longer the only male in the Su family. Su Qingping could only drag his luggage and leave the Su family. Fortunately, he had 3 properties under his name, so he didn't end up on the streets. Chapter 879, Interstellar People's Rural Lives VI. Brother. Su Qingni called Su Qingping timidly. Su Qingping turned his head and looked at Su Qingni. He was originally a little angry with Su Qingni in his heart. After all, it was because of Su Qingni that he was kicked out of the Su family. But seeing Su Qingni's soft and pitiful expression, Su Qingping's heart softened. Qingni, I was in a bad mood just now, and I wronged you. No, I'm not wronged. Su Qingni shook her head and said very considerately, brother is in a bad mood, I can understand. Qingni, you are so nice. Don't worry, I will treat you well in the future and take you back to the Su family openly. Su Qingping said. A trace of malice flashed in his heart. So what if he has a child? Can he grow up? If the child dies early, won't he have to inherit the Su family himself? Su Qingping began to plan in his mind. He also has a lot of connections. Although most of them will ignore him because he is no longer the heir of the Su family, there will still be some who only care about money. He has 10% of the shares of the Su family, as well as savings in some industries accumulated over the years. He has a lot of money in his hands, so he can still ask some people to help him. Su Qingping is full of malice and has begun to wonder how his parents will react after his good brother dies. Humph, don't even think about going to the fertility center to have children again, he won't allow it. There is a kind of drug in the black market that will destroy a person's fertility ability and kill the eggs and energy in the body after taking it. Although this drug is a banned drug, it can be bought as long as you have money. By then, without our brother, parents can no longer have children. He is the only heir to the Su family. Su Hongxin and Zhao Hunan will have to let him go back to the Su family? Humph, they must come to ask him to go back at that time. He has a good idea, but he doesn't know that his every move is being watched by Su Hongxin's people. Su Qingping was trained by Su Hongxin himself, how could he not know what kind of character the son is? He was worried that his eldest son would do something bad and let people watch him. Sure enough, he is worthy of being his seed. If Su Qingping hadn't suddenly decided that Su Qingni was the right woman, he would not have given up on this heir. But now, since Su Qingping didn't even let them, his parents, go, then don't blame him for not thinking about a father-son relationship. Su Hongxin had someone put that drug on Su Qingping and Su Qingni. When Su Qingping thought his plan was successful, he proudly took Su Qingni to the fertility center to have a child, but was told that his and Su Qingni's sperm and eggs were all dead, and they could not have children. It was like a bolt from the blue. Su Qingping was even colder from head to toe, and his teeth were trembling. His father knew his plan, so he took the first step. How could he forget his father's methods? Even he taught them, how could his father not know his thoughts? It's over. Everything is over. Su Qingni sat on the ground dejectedly. There was a conflict between Su Qingni and Su Qingni, and both of them regretted it. If they were not together, Su Qingni would still be the heir of the Su family, enjoying the benefits brought by the power of the Su family, and would have her own children. If Su Qingni had been Su Qingni's lover and a canary, she would have been able to give birth to her own children in the future. With Su Qingni's love for Su Qingni, he would definitely love their children more than the children born in marriage. At that time, the Su family would be inherited by her son. Or they could have waited until Su Hongxin died, and without opposition, they could have been together openly. It was nothing like now. Although the two of them were still well dressed, their lives were extremely miserable. They were not a loving couple, but a pair of resentful couples. Su Qingni couldn't accept the video played on the big screen. Why? She was obviously the princess. Why didn't she even have a decent wedding? Why was Su Qingni, who is obviously just a wild girl, married the prince like a princess at this time? Su Qingni thought of Su Qingni, who spent his days drinking and partying with different women, and burst into tears. The pedestrians around her looked at her crying and shook their heads and sighed. Ah, another admirer of General Walter. General Walter has so many admirers. Many girls cried when he got married. General Su has many admirers too. General Su is so beautiful, prettier than ordinary girls, and she is a perfect match for General Walter. General Su is also very capable, no less than General Walter. So it is said that only excellent people can match excellent people. The chirping voices filled Su Qingni's ears, all discussing Su Qingni and her groom. Su Qingni felt more and more bitter in her heart, and cried even louder. Su Qingni was very satisfied in this life. She lived with Evan Walter for more than 200 years. Evan Walter left before her. Before leaving, Evan Walter restored Donghuang Tai's memory. Before leaving, Tai apologized to Su Qingni and said that he was helpless. Although his soul and spirit have merged, the damage caused by his self-detonation is not so easy to eliminate. So Tai found a method to practice that can solve his soul problem. This method is very effective for the cultivation of the soul, but it also has disadvantages. That is, once you practice, you cannot stop, you must practice to the highest level in one breath. This is why Tai has been in seclusion and has not come out to see Su Qingni. And every time you enter a world and reincarnate, the practitioner will not have any previous memories, even if Tai's soul is stronger than Su Qingni's soul. This is why Tai does not recognize Su Qingni in every world. And when you practice to a high level, in order to prevent the world's heaven from noticing the practitioner, an outsider without memory, the method will automatically generate protection for the practitioner's soul and hide the practitioner's soul. So, everyone understands why Su Qingni did not recognize Tai at the first time? Tai really didn't mean it, and he was not hiding from Su Qingni. Tai said these words in one breath, and without waiting for Su Qingni's reaction, he was kicked out of this world. Su Qingni. Okay, since he didn't hide from me on purpose, I'll forgive him. Su Qingni felt that she was a good girl who was considerate of her lover. Tai left first, and Su Qingni followed him to leave this world. Returning to the Lich realm, Su Qingni rolled happily on the couch in her palace, and it took her a long time to restore her usual majestic and dignified appearance. For the first time, Su Qingni found a small piece of Dijiang's true spirit fragment, which was very small. However, Dijiang has now been resurrected and awakened, and his true spirit can be improved by himself. He doesn't want these small fragments, so Su Qingni absorbed this small piece of true spirit fragment herself. Chapter 880 Sisters 1. After absorbing that small fragment of Dijiang's true spirit, Su Qingni's understanding of time and space has reached a higher level. Moreover, after meeting Tai this time and living together for more than 200 years, Su Qingni's resentment in her heart has dissipated, and the speed of recovering her soul has also been much faster, and even her soul has faintly increased. After fully recovering, Su Qingni traveled through again. I am the dividing line after traveling through. Su Qingni felt severe pain as soon as she traveled through. Her body and even her face were in great pain. Especially on her face, it seemed as if something had bitten the flesh on her face. Just when Su Qingni's soul had not yet completely merged with his body, she felt the flesh on her face being bitten off. Not only on her face, but also on many parts of her body. What's going on? Was the original body pushed into the snake cave like Yihongai Ao? But the snake's mouth is not so small. Su Qingni hurriedly checked the environment she was in. This look shocked her. The original body did not fall into the snake cave, but into the crocodile pond. Crocodiles were all around, opening their bloody mouths and biting at her flesh. The flesh on one leg and one arm was almost eaten up by the crocodiles, revealing the white bones. Su Qingni didn't know what to say. The most important thing at the moment was to escape from the siege of the crocodiles. Su Qingni had no choice but to use the power of her soul. A huge pressure was released, and all the crocodiles exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Su Qingni also spit out blood. The rules of this world did not allow her to use too much power. With just this one move, her soul was seriously injured. Su Qingni wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and climbed ashore with a white leg. She could now see the surrounding environment clearly. She was not in a crocodile pond, but in a big river. Combined with the plants on both sides of the river bank, two terms popped up in Su Qingni's mind: Amazon River, African jungle. How much did the original body like to seek death that he actually ran to the dangerous African jungle? Now is not a good time to accept the memories of the original body. The most important thing at present is to deal with the injuries on her body, so that she will not die from excessive bleeding due to severe injuries as soon as she arrives. There are abundant plant materials, many animals and even more plants in the tropical rainforest. Su Qingni walked around nearby and found the herbs that can stop bleeding, remove toxins and regenerate flesh. She crushed them and applied them to the wound. Because of the explosion just now, all creatures within 100 meters nearby died, and all animals and insects within a radius of 5 kilometers ran away, forming a circle of vacuum zone. Su Qingni is safe in this area in the short term. Su Qingni lay on the ground and began to practice the health-preserving exercises, which can make her bitten flesh grow again. After practicing for 3 big cycles, the injuries on her body have improved a little. At least Su Qingni will not die. She stopped practicing and picked a few non-toxic fruits to fill her stomach. Not to mention, the fruit tastes really good, moderately sweet and sour, and more juicy. Su Qingni only began to accept the memories of the original body at this time. The original body was a third-tier actor and had a certain reputation in China. The original body had no father, and even her surname was Su, the same as her mother's. The family situation of the Su family was very bad. The original body had a grandfather, but he was seriously ill. To treat her father and raise her daughter, Su's mother, as a single mother, was very hard and had to work 3 jobs every day to make money. The sensible original body cared about her mother. She worked part-time tuition in junior high school and stopped going to school after graduating from high school, although her grades were very good and she passed a key undergraduate entrance examination. Her teachers felt sorry for her for a long time. In order to make more money to help her mother and treat her grandfather, the original body joined the entertainment industry. She was good-looking and talented in acting. She climbed up to the position of a third-tier star and made a lot of money for the family. However, Grandpa Su's illness was delayed for too long and could no longer be treated. He eventually died, leaving the original body and Su's mother to depend on each other. Now with the money earned by her daughter, Su's mother doesn't have to work so hard, and her life has become leisurely. In addition to opening a flower shop to pass the time, she spends most of the rest of her time urging her daughter to find a good man and return to the family. Su's mother always felt that the entertainment industry was too chaotic and not suitable for girls. The original body really loves acting and doesn't want to fall in love so early. She just wants to focus on her career. But what she didn't expect was that love came suddenly, which made her unable to refuse and didn't want to refuse. After all, the other party was so outstanding and pursued herself so passionately. The original body couldn't resist the other party's charm at all, and soon fell in love with a man named Ran Yingbo. Ran Yingbo is a young president. He is handsome and very outstanding. He looks deeply in love with the original body. This makes Su's mother very satisfied with this future son-in-law, and she wants her daughter to marry Ran Yingbo quickly. This time, the original body and Ran Yingbo came to explore the African jungle together, which was strongly promoted by Su's mother. Ran Yingbo said that he likes adventure and invited the original body to explore with her. The original body was very hesitant. She is not a person who likes excitement, and she doesn't want to die in the dangerous African rainforest. But Su's mother thought that her daughter could take this opportunity to strengthen her relationship with Ran Yingbo, and the two could get married after returning, and her daughter could also quit the entertainment industry, so she tried her best to persuade the original body to follow Ran Yingbo to the African rainforest. But she didn't know that she was trying her best to push her daughter to death. The original body had no hatred with Ran Yingbo, which can be seen from the original body's memory. But why did Ran Yingbo want to kill the original body? Ran Yingbo personally pushed the original body into the Amazon River to feed the crocodiles. Although he said I'm sorry when he pushed the original body. But can a light sorry be worth the life of the original body? Su Qingni only felt that Ran Yingbo was hypocritical and disgusting. She even suspected that Ran Yingbo was mentally ill, but he hid it well and no one found out. There is another possibility. Ran Yingbo attacked her because of another woman, and that woman should be the enemy of the original body. You know, no one in the entertainment industry will have no enemies. However, Su Qingni couldn't think of which woman would have such great charm to make Ran Yingbo, a young president who was a dragon and phoenix among men, kill for her. Su Qingni searched the memory of her original body, but could not determine which woman it was. Forget it, she would wait until she got out of the rainforest safely before investigating the reason why Ran Yingbo killed people. She would definitely send Ran Yingbo to prison to avenge her original body. But all this needs to be considered in the long run. After all, Ran Yingbo did it abroad, and there is no evidence. Domestic laws cannot convict Ran Yingbo. Oh, what a trouble. Su Qingni spat out a mouthful of blood and quickly practiced health-preserving exercises again. The damage to the soul has a significant impact on this body. Chapter 881 Sisters 2. Su Qingni stayed by the river for half a month. In this half month, she practiced the health-preserving skills to the 4th level. The flesh on her body and face grew a little, but there were sunken lumps here and there, and the pits and bumps looked terrible. In order not to scare the flowers and plants, Su Qingni did not rush to leave the rainforest. The rainforest is very dangerous for ordinary people, but it is ordinary for Su Qingni. Although she was injured, the health-preserving skills were effective. She was able to perform qigong and became more flexible. Even if she could not kill the lethal wild animals in the jungle, she could escape. As for the most insects, ants, snakes and the like in the jungle, Su Qingni made insect and snake repellent powder with unique plants in the jungle on the first day. Su Qingni has rich experience in jungle life and lives like a fish in water in the tropical jungle. Even daily necessities, Su Qingni found a lot. There is no shortage of people in this world who like to seek death but claim to be adventurous. Some of them are unlucky and die in the jungle, and their things are left here. Su Qingni found these things, and got a change of clothes, a lighter, pots and pans, and a tent. These made Su Qingni's life more convenient and comfortable. Su Qingni also saw natives in the jungle, but these natives were generally difficult to communicate with, and Su Qingni was too lazy to communicate with them. She avoided them when she saw them from a distance. In this way, Su Qingni lived in the jungle for a month, and only walked out of the jungle when the flesh on her face grew and was not so scary. The first thing Su Qingni did after walking out of the jungle was to call Su's mother. She also picked up a lot of money in the jungle, mostly US dollars, but also euros and local African currencies, and even a small bag of diamonds. So Su Qingni is really not short of money. Su's mother and the original body depended on each other for life. The original body died, and Su's mother must have been very sad these days. Call back first to report the news that she is not dead, so that Su's mother will not be sad. The phone rang several times before it was connected. Su Qingni didn't care, she just thought that Su's mother was immersed in sadness and didn't want to answer the phone, but the next second after the call was connected, her face changed. Hello? Who is this? A familiar voice came from the phone. It was really familiar. But it was not Su's mother's voice, but a voice that was exactly the same as the original body. The voice was the same, so would the appearance be the same? A guess popped up in Su Qingni's mind. King, who called? Another voice came from the other end of the phone. Although it was very small, Su Qingni heard it clearly. It was Su's mother's voice. Then the voice that was exactly the same as the original body answered, "No words, it's not a harassing call, right? Mom, do you know anyone abroad?" "How can I know anyone abroad?" Su's mother said. "That's a harassing call, I'm hanging up." After the voice finished speaking, the phone came with a busy tone of beep beep beep. Su Qingni put down the receiver, and her eyes became clear. It turned out that this identity was stolen. Ran Yingbo wanted to kill the original body just for this woman. It's just that, Su Qingni couldn't figure it out. Even if that woman looked like the original body, they were not the same person, so there must be many flaws. Even if Ran Yingbo was helping the woman to cover up, she could deceive others, but she shouldn't be able to deceive Su's mother, right? You have to know that the original body and Su's mother have been dependent on each other for more than 20 years, and Su's mother is the person who knows the original body best. And Su's mother is the original body's biological mother. As a mother, how could she not recognize her daughter? From what Su's mother said just now, it didn't sound like she had a mental problem. What's going on with you? Su Qingni felt a fog in front of her. She thought she had a lot of things to investigate. Su Qingni didn't have any ID on her now, so she couldn't even get a room in a hotel. She could only buy a computer first, go to a cafe with internet, order a cup of coffee, and turn on the computer. Su Qingni looked very embarrassed, but the waiter in the cafe didn't dare to treat him lightly. This place is close to the tropical jungle, and many people who go into the jungle for adventure will come here and enter and exit the Amazon jungle from here. Most of these adventurers are rich people. Only rich people are bored and run here to seek excitement. As employees in the service industry, they naturally dare not offend these people who are the gods of wealth to them. Even if they look very embarrassed. They have seen people who are more embarrassed. Su Qingni took a sip of strong coffee and started working. Su Qingni felt that the most practical skill in the modern plane is hacking technology. In several worlds, she relied on hacking technology to help her solve the difficult situation when she first arrived in the world. This time is no exception. Su Qingni used her hacking technology to get herself an identity certificate. Considering that there is a Su Qingni in the country, she got another identity for herself. A girl who was similar to the original body also ran to the African jungle to die not long ago. It was an adventure. As a result, the girl really died. Su Qingni found several of her bones in a backpack in the jungle. There was a girl's passport in the backpack. It happened that the girl had black hair and black eyes and was a Chinese American. Su Qingni decided to replace the girl's identity. As for the problem of appearance, dear friends, do you still remember the mirror of love for flowers? You can use the method to change your appearance, which is 100 times stronger than plastic surgery, without defects, dangers, and sequelae. Dear friends who love beauty, do you want to practice with me? I guarantee that you will change from a 50-point little transparent person to a 100-point big beauty. After deciding on her future identity, Su Qingni began to climb over the wall to access the domestic network. There was no news on the domestic network that Su Qingni died in a foreign land, but there was news that Su Qingni was about to marry Ran Yingbo and that she would play the heroine in a TV series. This TV series was invested by Ran Yingbo, and netizens and fans praised Ran Yingbo as a good husband who supported his wife's career so much. This is another point that Su Qingni couldn't figure out. Did Su's mother dislike the original body being in the entertainment industry? Did she always hope that the original body would marry Ran Yingbo and leave the entertainment industry? Why did this imposter go to act in a TV series when he was about to marry Ran Yingbo? Did Su's mother stop her? Su Qingni checked the entry and exit records of Su Qingni again. It's normal. Even the airport has videos of Su Qingni coming in and out. Was the original body immediately replaced after being pushed into the crocodile group? It's really infuriating. Ran Yingbo. This man is really a piece of shit. Su Qingni snorted coldly, and her fingers quickly tapped on the keyboard. All the information about Ran Yingbo appeared on Su Qingni's computer screen without any cover. Chapter 882 Sisters 3. Although Ran Yingbo is a rich president, he is not a big shot, and his information is not a top-secret file. Even if it is a top-secret file, Su Qingni's hacker level can easily crack it. All his information is displayed in front of Su Qingni. And the person who pretended to be the original owner also appeared in Su Qingni's site because of Ran Yingbo. Fu Mingzhao. He can be regarded as Ran Yingbo's childhood sweetheart. Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao met when Fu Mingzhao was 10 years old, and the two families became neighbors at that time. Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao have a very good relationship. They played together and grew up together until Ran Yingbo went abroad to study, and the two separated. But before Ran Yingbo went abroad, he confessed to Fu Mingzhao. Fu Mingzhao also agreed, and the two became lovers. However, when Ran Yingbo returned to China, Fu Mingzhao disappeared. It turned out that Fu Mingzhao's parents were serious businessmen on the surface, but in fact they were big DU tycoons. Fu Mingzhao, as their only daughter, was also brought into this sinful industry by them. Just 1 month before Ran Yingbo returned to China after completing his studies, the anti-drug police obtained evidence of the Fu family's crimes and arrested them. Fu Mingzhao's father used all his strength and connections to send Fu Mingzhao away, and he and Fu Mingzhao's mother were arrested. Fu Mingzhao escaped, and the country issued a wanted order for her. She could only hide in the dark like a rat in the gutter, and she didn't dare to come out at all. This made Fu Mingzhao, who was used to enjoying and being sought after, really unbearable. After Ran Yingbo returned to China, Fu Mingzhao secretly found him. This Ran Yingbo was really a lovesick man. He didn't care about Fu Mingzhao's mistakes at all and hid Fu Mingzhao in his villa. But Fu Mingzhao couldn't always hide and not contact people, right? Coincidentally, a TV series starring the original body appeared on TV. When Fu Mingzhao saw the original body in the TV series had exactly the same face as hers, a crazy idea came to her mind. After Ran Yingbo returned home, Fu Mingzhao told her idea. Ran Yingbo, who only had Fu Mingzhao in his eyes, actually agreed immediately. This person has no sense of right and wrong, which can be seen from the fact that he harbored Fu Mingzhao. As one of the leaders of drug dealers, Fu Mingzhao has harmed many people, but Ran Yingbo does not think Fu Mingzhao is guilty at all, which shows that this person's thoughts are the same as Fu Mingzhao. No wonder they can become lovers. They don't care about human life at all. The two discussed the plan and had future actions. Ran Yingbo pretended to meet the original body by chance, fell in love with the original body at first sight, and pursued the original body. Take the original body to play in the African jungle, push the original body into the Amazon River to feed the crocodiles, and let Fu Mingzhao directly replace the original body's identity and follow Ran Yingbo back to China. After that, Fu Mingzhao can appear in front of people openly as the original body. Moreover, Fu Mingzhao is very interested in being a star, and she likes the feeling of being sought after. Therefore, although Su's mother wanted Fu Mingzhao to quit the entertainment industry after getting married, Fu Mingzhao did not agree and was still active in the entertainment industry. In the end, it was Su's mother who compromised. As for why Su's mother compromised and why she obeyed Fu Mingzhao in everything, it started more than 20 years ago. Su Qingni investigated Su's mother's past and found out who the biological father of the original body was. It turned out that Su Qingni and Fu Mingzhao were twins, and they were test tube babies. When Su's mother was young, she worked as a surrogate mother to make money for her and Grandpa Su's living. Fu Mingzhao and the original body's biological parents gave a lot of money, and this amount alone was enough for Grandpa Su and Su's mother to live a well-off life for more than 10 years. Su's mother did some small business, and she would not have to worry about her livelihood in the future. Su's mother gave birth to a pair of twin daughters after 10 months of pregnancy. During these 9 months, Su's mother lived with the children in her belly day and night, and developed a deep affection for the children in her belly. Originally, the children in her belly were cultivated with her eggs and Fu Mingzhao's father's sperm. Fu Mingzhao's nominal mother's eggs were inactive. Su's mother was naturally full of maternal love for the children. After the child was born, Su's mother was reluctant to separate from her daughter. But she had already received the money from the Fu family, and it was impossible to regret it. So Su's mother made a bold decision. While the Fu couple was not on the country when she gave birth, she left one child to raise by herself and gave the other child to the Fu couple, saying that she had only given birth to one child. The Fu couple did not expect that Su's mother, a small person, would cheat them. At that time, they were busy communicating with foreign drug suppliers and had no energy to take care of Su's mother, so they were successfully fooled by Su's mother. As a result, they did not know that they had another daughter. Su's mother raised her daughter and ran a small business, and her life was not bad. But who would have thought that people would have misfortunes at any time? Grandpa Su fell ill, and the Fu family spent all the compensation for Su's mother, causing the Su family's life to fall into decline, which was worse than before Su's mother gave Su to the Fu family as a surrogate. It also caused the original body to suffer with Su's mother since childhood and pay a lot for the Su family. After finding out about this, Su Qingni understood why Su's mother reacted like this. She must have recognized that Fu Mingzhao was not the original body, but she also recognized that Fu Mingzhao was her other daughter. Out of guilt and longing for this daughter who had not been around since childhood, Su's mother knew that the original body might have had an accident, and Fu Mingzhao replaced the original body's identity, but she did not say it, and she quickly accepted Fu Mingzhao and helped Fu Mingzhao to cover up. Su Qingni sighed, feeling sorry for the original body. Just because a child is not around, she feels guilty about that child, and thus wrongs the child who has always been with her and suffered with her? Oh, what kind of idea is this? What does Su's mother have to feel guilty about Fu Mingzhao? Fu Mingzhao has lived a life of luxury since she was a child, and has been half the life of a princess. She has parents who love her and childhood sweethearts to accompany her, so she doesn't care about her guilt at all. On the contrary, if Su's mother hadn't secretly taken the original body away, the original body could have lived the life of a rich lady instead of suffering with her. Speaking of the facts, the things that the Fu family couple did that led to Fu Mingzhao being wanted are another matter. Su's mother did not pity the suffering original body, but pity Fu Mingzhao who might have killed the original body. If the original body was still alive, it must be very sad and painful, right? Fortunately, the original body died. One of the original body's wishes was to go home and accompany her mother, but Su Qingni would never satisfy her. Su Qingni didn't want such a mother. Moreover, Su Qingni would have to help the original body to seek revenge on Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo in the future. Su's mother, who stood on Fu Mingzhao's side, would naturally become Su Qingni's opposite. Instead of falling out with Su's mother at that time, it would be better not to be with Su's mother now and let Su's mother think that the original body was dead. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 883 Four Sisters. Let Su's mother think that the original body is dead. I just don't know if Su's mother will feel guilty when she wakes up in the middle of the night, and whether she will dream that her other daughter comes to her to seek justice. After understanding all the ins and outs, Su Qingni let go of the keyboard with both hands and drank the slightly cold coffee. She fell back, leaned her back on the back of the leather chair, and began to think about her future life. Revenge is certain, but although she has dug up all the old information of Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao, it is all information that can be dug up on the internet. What is not on the internet, she can't get it now without magic power. Therefore, Su Qingni has no evidence that Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao harmed the original body. Even if Su Qingni ran back to the country to expose Fu Mingzhao's identity, she could not convict Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao. Instead, they might frame Su Qingni as the wanted Fu Mingzhao. If Su's mother, who has already been biased, proves Fu Mingzhao's identity, Su Qingni will definitely be considered as Fu Mingzhao and will be arrested by the police uncle. They can only be let go for the time being. But Su Qingni will keep an eye on them all the time. You know, a dog will always eat shit. Fu Mingzhao was addicted to drugs in the past, so it is impossible for her to give up completely. As long as she touches it again, Su Qingni will collect evidence and send her to prison to accompany the Fu couple. After turning off the computer, Su Qingni left the cafe, went to the hotel to get a room, took a good bath, and slept for a day and a night. In the following days, Su Qingni took the time to practice the mirror of pity for flowers, adjusting her appearance little by little, and making it closer to the appearance of a Chinese girl. She changed a little bit every day, and people who looked at her didn't think she had changed. In addition, foreigners are face blind when looking at Asians, so no one thinks Su Qingni has become a different person. When Su Qingni looked 70% similar to an Asian girl, Su Qingni bought a ticket to the United States and left Africa. The Asian girl was named Alice. Her parents had passed away, and her uncle's family had a distant relationship with her. Therefore, as long as she stayed away from Alice's few good friends, Su Qingni would not be exposed. Su Qingni used hacking technology to investigate Alice's information thoroughly. With a foundation, Su Qingni was not afraid of being exposed in front of outsiders. However, Alice was lively and had made many friends. In front of these friends, Su Qingni had no confidence. So she simply moved from New York to Los Angeles, and went directly from the East Coast to the West Coast. Being so far away, Su Qingni took the opportunity to distance herself from Alice's original friends, and no one suspected her. Los Angeles is very close to the famous Hollywood. Well, Hollywood originally belonged to the city of Los Angeles and was located in the suburbs of Los Angeles. Therefore, stars can often be seen in Los Angeles, and there are many young people who want to come to Los Angeles to make a living, as well as scouts. When Su Qingni was still thinking about what she would do in the future, she was found by a scout. Alice is very beautiful, with 1/8 mixed blood. Her facial features are deeper and more three-dimensional than other Asians, making her more recognizable. That's why the scout took a fancy to her. It's not entirely true to call her a scout. This person helps the crew introduce actors and gets paid from both ends. A TV crew needed an Asian actor. They found many actors, but the director was not satisfied. The scout had a good relationship with the director. When he saw Su Qingni on the road, he immediately thought of the role. Alice is beautiful, but what attracted the scout more was Su Qingni's temperament. She was noble and elegant, and she was also ethereal, which was very consistent with the role in the TV series. The scout immediately came up to Su Qingni and started a conversation. Su Qingni blinked. Be an actor? That's fine. I was an actor originally, and I love acting very much. Then I'll be an actor. When I become famous in the future, I will come back to China from Hollywood, and I will be more impressive than Fu Mingzhao. Su Qingni nodded and agreed. The scout was overjoyed and immediately took Su Qingni to meet his friend, the picky TV director. The director was very satisfied with Su Qingni's image and temperament, which was very consistent with the image of the witch from the East in the TV series. However, the director was worried about Su Qingni's acting skills and was afraid that she would not be able to play the role well, so he asked Su Qingni to audition first. If Su Qingni performed well, he would give the role to Su Qingni. If Su Qingni had no acting skills at all, he would have to give up the girl with great pain. But to her surprise, the girl's acting skills were really great. With his eyesight from so many years in the TV circle, he could see that the girl's acting skills were not worse than many old actors, and even caught up with the Oscar winners. He really picked up a treasure. The director could foresee that a superstar was about to rise, and it was rising in his hands. The director immediately signed a contract with Su Qingni and gave the role of the witch in the TV series to Su Qingni. Turning around, the director contacted the screenwriter and asked the screenwriter to increase the appearance rate of the Oriental witch. After watching Su Qingni's audition video, the screenwriter was inspired and gave the witch more opportunities to appear. He turned a character that only appeared in one episode into an important character throughout the season. Su Qingni also became a little famous for this role, but this is just a TV series after all. In the United States, TV series have less influence than movies. After the TV series was over, the popularity of the Oriental witch passed, and the audience forgot about Su Qingni. Su Qingni wanted to become an international superstar, and then she would return to crush Fu Mingzhao. Naturally, she could not let the audience forget her. If there is no opportunity to participate in TV and movies, then she will look for opportunities. Su Qingni has no background and no agent. Like many young people who come to Hollywood to make a living, she has no advantage even more than these young people because she is Asian, even if makeup can make her look like a Westerner. But these foreigners are deeply rooted. Even if the same role is played better by Asians, they will use the appearance problem to give the role to another Westerner. They have never thought that the appearance problem can be solved by makeup. Nowadays, makeup techniques are becoming more and more magical. It is possible to make an 18-year-old girl look like an 80-year-old woman and a 40-year-old woman look like a 14-year-old girl. Then, it would be very easy to make a person with mixed-race features look like a complete Westerner. What a bunch of brainless guys. Other young people would give their bodies to get a chance. But Su Qingni would never take this step. With her own strength, it was easy for her to find an opportunity. Chapter 884 Sisters 5. Su Qingni decided to take the initiative, and the first step was naturally to use her cute little electrician. With a computer in hand, Su Qingni turned out all the information about the movies and TV series that were about to be filmed and planned to be filmed in Hollywood. After viewing this information, Su Qingni found a target. Hollywood director Steven is about to shoot a movie adapted from a fantasy novel. No, not one, but three. One movie cannot fully show the grand background of the novel, nor can it tell all the wonderful stories. The film has done the preliminary work and is now recruiting actors. The leading actors and some important roles are not yet determined. Director Steven is a director who strives for perfection in his works. In his crew, there are also actors who enter the crew through connections, but those actors must also have strength to be pleasing to director Steven. If you are just a vase, thinking of getting a role from director Steven by relying on connections and body, that's a dream. Director Steven doesn't care about investors. On the contrary, because his movies are well received and popular, and the return rate is very high, Investors are holding money and begging to invest in his movies. Therefore, director Steven is very fair in selecting actors. He will choose actors with good acting skills who are suitable for the role, even if the director is still a little transparent. The unspoken rules do not work with director Steven. The reason why Su Qingni chose this movie is because the director is Steven. She believes that as long as she appears in front of director Steven, he will definitely choose her to play one of the roles. The role that Su Qingni is interested in is more important and appears more frequently in the movie. It is a member of the protagonist's adventure team, an elf, and an elf princess. The elf princess has an elegant temperament, which Su Qingni has naturally, and she doesn't need to act. The elf princess is very agile, jumping high and low between the woods, light and beautiful. For this, you must find an actor with some skills to play it, otherwise even if there is a wire hanging, some actors' bodies and hands and feet will appear stiff, and they can't show the lightness of the elf at all. Su Qingni can do it. She has now practiced light skills and can jump between branches without hanging wires. This is where she is better than other actresses. The most important thing is Su Qingni's acting skills. How could director Steven not be moved by Oscar's acting skills? Su Qingni smiled confidently. It was a sunny day, the sky was clear, and the breeze was blowing. It was a good day to go out and play. It was also the weekend. Many people worked for 5 days and took a break today. It was a good time to go out and play with their families or girlfriends. Director Steven was the same. The preparations for his new movie had been completed, and he would start recruiting actors for auditions next week. It was the weekend, so he took his wife and daughter out to play, to repair his body and spirit, so that he could have more energy to devote to the busyness of the next week. Director Steven was in his 50s, his wife was more than 10 years younger than him, and their daughter Dana was a 12-year-old girl. The family was very harmonious and happy. His daughter was about to graduate from elementary school, and director Steven and his wife took their daughter to the mall to buy a small dress for her graduation ceremony. After buying the dresses, the family walked out of the mall and were about to go to the parking lot when they heard a shrill scream, "Someone is robbing! Stop him!" The family of 3 looked in the direction of the sound and saw a man riding a motorcycle and speeding towards the street. In his hand, he was holding a lady's handbag that he had just robbed. The woman who was screaming was wearing brand name clothes. She looked rich. I guess her handbag was filled with valuables. Everyone on the street saw the robber running away because of the woman's scream, but no one chased him. One reason was that the distance was too far and 2 legs could not catch up with 2 wheels. Another reason was that everyone was an ordinary person. Even if they caught up with the robber, how could they catch him? What if they were stabbed by the robber and injured? Just when everyone thought that the woman should just admit that she was unlucky, a figure suddenly rushed out from the side. She touched the ground with both feet and jumped 2 meters high, as if she had escaped gravity. Then she stepped on the wall with both feet, sped a few steps on the wall, and fell to the right front of the motorcycle. Then the man kicked one leg against the wall and leaped to the front of the motorcycle. He kicked out with his left foot and kicked the robber, causing the motorcycle to fall to the ground. The man walked forward, snatched the bag from the robber, and waited for the woman to run to him. Good. Director Steven couldn't help but shout, and his daughter also looked at the man who stopped the robber with shining eyes, full of admiration. Director Steven squinted his eyes and looked at the man. It was a young girl, very beautiful, with black hair and blue eyes. Because she wore blue contact lenses, her temperament was smart and elegant. Director Steven couldn't help but think of the elf princess in his movie, and walked towards the girl. "Thank you." The woman who was robbed took her bag and thanked him gratefully. "You're welcome." The girl smiled, her smile was like a spring breeze. At this time, the police arrived and took the robber away. Director Steven was silent when he saw this scene and stopped his steps. However, Dana did not stop. She ran to the girl and asked excitedly, "Did you use Chinese Kung Fu just now? It's amazing. Can you teach me?" "Excuse me, who are you?" The girl made a puzzled expression. Dana quickly introduced herself and introduced her parents to the girl. The girl also introduced herself and said that she was an actor. When she saw Director Steven, she showed an excited and admiring expression. Dana smiled and said, "Why don't you act in my father's movie? You are so good at martial arts, and my father will definitely want an actor like you." "Right, Dad?" "Yes." Director Steven nodded, gave the girl an ambiguous smile, and said, "Come to this address for an audition next week." There's a role in it that suits you very well." After that, he handed the girl a business card. The girl took the business card gratefully and said goodbye to the family of three. The family of three walked towards their private car. After his wife and daughter got in the car, Director Steven said to the two of them, "Wait for me in the car for a while, I'm going to take care of some things." After that, he quickly went in a certain direction. That direction is the direction the girl left. Chapter 885 Sister 6. In a small alley not far away, the woman who had just been robbed, the robbers, and the police gathered together. The police did not take the robbers to the police station, but surrounded the girl who organized the robbery and asked her for money. "My shoulder hurts so much when you kicked me. I'm afraid it's broken. You have to pay more," the robber said to the girl. The girl didn't bargain with the robber. After distributing the reward to the actors, she took out a stack of banknotes and threw it to the robber. This stack of banknotes was enough for 10,000 yuan, which made the robber smile. He blew a kiss to the girl with the money and said, "Next time you want to find someone tracked, come to us." After that, he followed the two people pretending to be police officers and left with their arms around each other. The girl saw that everyone had left, so she turned around and wanted to leave. As a result, she saw Director Steven when she turned around, and the girl screamed in surprise. "Director Steven, why are you here?" Director Steven smiled, "I came to watch the show." The girl slumped her shoulders and said embarrassedly, "Did you see through it?" Director Steven nodded, "I am a director after all. I can still tell whether it is acting or real." And Director Steven put on a smile on his face, "If you need police uniforms and props in the future, go to XX company to rent them. The police warehouses there are very real. The equipment of the two people you found has too many flaws." The girl was embarrassed, but more worried about her audition. She asked carefully, "Director Steven, I'm sorry to lie to you, but I can only think of this way to attract your attention. After all, I don't have an agent, and I have no connections in Hollywood. I can't get your audition notice." You won't cancel my audition qualification, right?" Director Steven laughed, "Don't worry, girl, since I invited you, I won't regret it. Besides, what you did really amused me. It's a unique way to attract people. I will consider using it in my movie in the future." The girl felt relieved when she heard what Director Steven said, and she smiled. The smile was brilliant, like a flower blooming in the eyes, and suddenly made Director Shifufan think of the Elf Queen. He decided in his heart that even if the girl's acting skills were mediocre, as long as she had a little acting skills, he would give the role of the Elf Queen to this girl. Director Steven exposed the girl's trick with a bad taste, and walked away happily with a brisk step. The girl, Su Qingni, looked at Director Steven's back and smiled. Director Steven was more impressed with her now, right? She deliberately left the flaws of the two policemen for Director Steven to discover. 3 days passed in a flash, and on the day of the audition, Su Qingni dressed up and went to the audition location. This time she wore green contact lenses, and her eyebrows and eyes were painted more deeply, and she was a big beauty when she walked out. However, what Los Angeles and Hollywood lack the most is handsome men and beautiful women. When Su Qingni arrived at the audition location, she was immediately drowned in the group of handsome men and beautiful women. She exchanged her resume for a number plate, and she was ranked after more than 100 people. Su Qingni thought she came early and could be in the front of the line. You know, if you are in the back, you will be at a great disadvantage. Not to mention that if the important characters have to appear at the end, the interviewers will become more and more tired of watching the performances of so many people, and they will become more and more perfunctory. They don't have the mood and energy to watch the performances of the people behind. This is just an interview for supporting roles. If it is an interview for the male lead, the female lead, the second male lead, and the second female lead, there must be more people coming for the interview, right? Su Qingni thought that she would not be able to see the interviewer until the evening, but she didn't expect the interview to be very fast. The people who went in for the interview came out after a while. The handsome guys stayed in the room for a longer time, but the beauties were eliminated much shorter. It seemed that they were sent out after just a few questions. Therefore, Su Qingni entered the interview room before lunch. She saw Director Steven sitting among several interviewers at a glance. Director Steven smiled when he saw Su Qingni, and said to the producer beside him, "This girl's appearance and temperament are very suitable for the image of an elf princess." The producer looked at Su Qingni and nodded, and said to Director Steven, "Since the image is suitable, you should not be so harsh." What actresses need is image and acting skills, and skills are not so important. Director Steven said firmly, no. How can an elf princess not have skills? Producer, you can use a stand-in. Director Steven, the beauty of the elf princess is not only in appearance, but also in figure. You let a big and strong stand-in play the elf princess, how can the back view and figure be good? Producer, but your requirements are too strict. Director Steven, I believe I can find an actress who meets my requirements. Su Qingni stopped listening to the conversation between the two, and finally understood why the actresses were eliminated so quickly. I think Director Steven has decided to let her play the role of the elf princess. In order not to disappoint Director Steven's love, she decided to perform well. Sure enough, Director Steven did not ask her to play a part of the elf princess, but asked her how her skills were. Have you ever practiced? Su Qingni naturally answered that she had practiced. Director Steven pointed to the wall and said, jump high and kick the wall. Su Qingni understood that this was a chance for Director Steven to give her a performance in front of others. She suddenly rushed to the wall beside her, tiptoed, and jumped up to a height of 2 meters. She kicked one foot on the wall, and the other foot quickly followed and kicked on the wall that was 2 feet higher than before. Then the first foot went up again, and the body turned a circle, with a head facing down and both feet on the ceiling. After another flip, Su Qingni landed steadily and stood on the floor. This series of wonderful moves shocked everyone in the room. After Su Qingni finished her performance, they didn't come back to their senses. Director Steven had seen how Su Qingni chased the robbers, so he was mentally prepared and came back to his senses first, raising his hands and clapping. Only then did the others react and followed suit, clapping and praising her. The producer retracted his surprised expression and said to Director Steven, old friend, you have been waiting for this girl, right? Yes. Director Steven admitted that his old friend had seen through him. When I saw her, I thought she was very consistent with the image of the elf princess. Later, when I saw her skills chasing the robbers who were fleeing on a motorcycle, I decided to let her play the role of the elf princess. Chapter 886 Sister 7. When I saw her jumping on the wall, I felt like I saw a real elf princess. Director Steven said. But is her acting good? The producer asked. To star in a big-budget movie, the actor's acting skills are very important. Director Steven said, you should trust my ability to train actors. As long as she has her little acting skills, I will let her play the elf princess. I believe that after a few months, she will become exactly like the elf princess under my training. The producer nodded. He trusted his old friend's ability to train actors' acting skills. Director Steven asked his assistant to give Su Qingni a line of the elf princess and let Su Qingni perform. This is the time to show her acting skills. Su Qingni smiled slightly, and her acting skills at the level of an Oscar-winning actress were displayed in front of everyone. Everyone was simply stunned. Is this a newcomer? It would be a shame for her if she didn't win an Oscar for her acting skills. This is a treasure. Director Steven was overjoyed. It is said that this girl doesn't have an agency yet. Do you want to lure her to your company? Well, after the interview, I will call my agent and ask someone to contact this girl. Needless to say, Su Qingni got the role of the elf princess. In the afternoon, Su Qingni received another call from a woman named Phoebe Truman. Su Qingni knew this woman. This woman was very famous in Hollywood. She was a top gold medal agent and had brought out 2 movie kings and 1 movie queen. A few years ago, she was hospitalized for health reasons. After being discharged from the hospital, she distributed her movie kings, movie queens and actresses to other agents, leaving only Director Steven. After all, Steven was just a director, and he didn't have as much work as the stars, so Phoebe had more time to recuperate. Now Phoebe called me, and I thought it was Director Steven who recommended me to her, and I thought her health had almost recovered. It's okay to sign the contract, but some things must be made clear first. Su Qingni thought about it and said some of her requirements. Foreigners are not as reserved as the Chinese. If there is something that is said directly, everyone can accept it and will not feel offended. After listening to Su Qingni's requirements, Phoebe felt that they were all acceptable, but she agreed. The two agreed to meet at a time and place, and then signed the contract. The next day, Su Qingni went to Phoebe's office and signed an agent contract with her. Then Phoebe accompanied Su Qingni to the building where Steven's crew was located and helped Su Qingni sign the contract with the crew. Phoebe studied law, so she could understand the contract by herself without hiring a lawyer. A few days after the contract was signed, Su Qingni joined the crew. There are many young actors in the crew, but they are all more famous than Su Qingni. These actors are afraid of Su Qingni, especially after seeing Su Qingni's acting skills. They understand that this is a very scary enemy, and there will definitely be a place for her at the top of Hollywood in the future. Some people with bad intentions want to suppress Su Qingni before she grows up, so that she will never rise in her life. Su Qingni has no background and connections, so they can definitely suppress Su Qingni easily, but the facts surprised everyone. None of those who secretly attacked Su Qingni succeeded. Those who used gangsters or hate to attack Su Qingni either had their hands or feet broken. Even the mastermind behind the scenes is fine now, but he also broke a leg after their scenes were filmed. As for those who used their power to cause trouble for Su Qingni, as long as they found Su Qingni on the first day, then the various evidence of the crimes of those powerful people would appear on the internet on the second day and could not be deleted. Then the relevant departments would come to the door. Now everyone knew that Su Qingni was not easy to mess with. Although she had no background and no connections, she was a martial arts master, and she might also be a hacker master, or she knew a hacker master. Moreover, she was alone, her friends were estranged from her, and her uncle's family was not close to her. Catching her relatives and friends to threaten them would not work. She was barefoot and was not afraid of those who wore shoes. If she really confronted her to the death, they would be the unlucky ones. No one dared to suppress Su Qingni anymore. Su Qingni successfully finished filming the movie directed by Steven. It took half a year, and the 3 parts were filmed together, but they were not released at the same time. When the first movie was released, Su Qingni received her second job, which was found by Phoebe. Although Phoebe has been recuperating for most of these years, her original network of contacts has not been cut off, so it is relatively easy to find resources for Su Qingni. In particular, Su Qingni's acting skills are really eye-catching. Phoebe obtained the consent of director Steven and took a video of Su Qingni playing the elf princess to show to other directors. The other directors were all moved by Su Qingni's Oscar-winning acting skills. Su Qingni is just a newcomer now, and the remuneration she asked for is not high. It is a great deal to be able to hire an actress of the Oscar-winning level to participate in their movie with a little money. Don't say that Su Qingni is Asian. Now, in order to expand the market in the flower country, many movies will arrange Asian roles, and they are relatively likable Asian roles. Well, these are all minor supporting roles. It would be a bit of a waste of talent to let this girl named Alice play them. It is better to give her an important role, even the heroine. Although this girl is Asian, she looks like a combination of Chinese and Western. She wears colored contact lenses and dyes her hair in other colors. She looks like a Western girl, and her appearance is very similar to that of a Latin American girl. So, Su Qingni got the role of the second female lead. The director of this movie is also a big director, and he is best at art films. He made this movie to impact the Oscars next year. Su Qingni may be able to take advantage of this movie to get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. It would be even better if she can win the award. The elf princess has won the love of many fans. Originally, many fans were worried that the actor would mess up this likable role, but Su Qingni's interpretation of the elf princess gave them a great surprise. The figure that jumped lightly between the branches did not show any traces of being carried by wires at all, because Su Qingni did not use wires at all. When she jumped up and jumped back and forth between the branches, she shocked the entire crew. Of course, this was the result of her restrained, the graceful and flexible movements, the noble and elegant temperament, were exactly the elf princess in their minds. Su Qingni became a big hit this time. Unlike last time when the audience forgot about her after the TV series ended, this time, many fans remember this girl named Alice. Chapter 887 Sister 8. 3 years later, Su Qingni became a Hollywood superstar and a world-renowned star. At this year's Oscars, Su Qingni won the title of Best Actress. Phoebe came to discuss future work with Su Qingni with her mobile phone. She was very satisfied with the only artist in her hand. This is a self-disciplined good girl. She doesn't drive fast, doesn't smoke marijuana, and doesn't attend some crazy parties. She is very well behaved, which saves her a lot of trouble. She doesn't have to get up in the middle of the night to clean up the artist's butts like before, and her body will not be dragged down again because of a few days of day and night reversal without rest. This is good. This is also a good girl who is hardworking and responsible for her work. She only needs to help her arrange work, and she doesn't have to worry about it afterwards. The girl can complete the work well by herself. She has won praise from directors. She is also a girl who can make a lot of money. As the girl's agent, she has also made a lot in the past 2 years. It's a pity that there is only one such good artist, the girl in front of her. Alice, you are Chinese, so how do you speak Chinese? Phoebe asked. Of course it's great, Chinese is my mother tongue. Su Qingni replied. That's good. Phoebe opened the screen of her mobile phone, found a message and handed it to Su Qingni. I received an invitation from a TV station in Huaguo, and they want to invite you to participate in one of their variety shows. The remuneration they offer is very considerable, and it can also help you increase your popularity in Huaguo. I think you can go to participate. Su Qingni took Phoebe's mobile phone and looked at the message on it. The invitation letter was sent by Orange TV in Huaguo. The name of the variety show they are going to do is Village Life. This is to bring urban fashionable male and female stars to very remote mountainous areas, let them take off their beautiful and handsome clothes, put on the clothes of village girls and village men, and experience the life of poor people in the mountainous areas. They have to live in the mountains for 10 days. During the 10 days, they have to work in the fields, collect firewood in the mountains, and do all kinds of farm work. If they don't work, they can't eat. This program is different from Longing for Life. The theme of Longing for Life is to be simple and return to the countryside. The guests go to the countryside to breathe the natural air and find the voice of their hearts. The mentality is leisurely and relaxed. But life in the mountain village is to let the guests suffer, so that the audience can see the difficulties of people's lives in remote mountainous areas through the guests' 10-day life. Many stars know that they can't bear this hardship and refuse the invitation of the program group. The program group has to increase the remuneration and cast a wide net. Even Su Qingni from abroad has sent an invitation. The program group really didn't think that Su Qingni would agree to their invitation, but the results surprised them. Su Qingni not only replied to them, but also agreed to the invitation. The program group immediately announced that Su Qingni would participate in Life in the Mountain Village. This is a living signboard. How eye-catching it is that the Oscar-winning actress participates in the Life in the Mountain Village program. Even people in the entertainment industry will pay attention to the programs in order to build relationships with the Oscar-winning actress. If they invite people to participate again, they will not be always rejected as before. Just when the program group was promoting Su Qingni's participation in Life in the Mountain Village, Su Qingni had packed her gifts and boarded the plane back to the flower country. Fu Mingzhao, Ran Yingbo, long time no see. This time, it's time for us to settle the accounts. Although she was abroad for the past 3 years, Su Qingni did not give up her surveillance of Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo. In order to obtain evidence of the two people's crimes, Su Qingni hired the world's top mercenary team with a high reward. She did not let the mercenary team do anything that violated the laws of Huaguo, but just sneaked into the residences and offices of the two people and installed surveillance equipment. Su Qingni recorded all the illegal things the two people had done over the years. But those were still minor fights, and they could be solved with their connections and power. Su Qingni wanted to knock the two people down to the dust and never get up again. The program team attaches great importance to Su Qingni, an international superstar, and the director came to pick her up in person. This is a strong woman in her 40s. It is reported that she came out of the mountains. While working and studying, she not only completed her university studies but also studied for a master's degree. After that, she entered the TV station, worked hard, and finally became a respected director in the station. Su Qingni has a good impression of Director Zhang. Director Zhang originally thought that Su Qingni, a Chinese overseas in the United States, was a fashionable city girl who knew nothing about rural affairs. As a result, he found out during the conversation that this girl even knew about earthen stove life and pounding rice, which surprised him. Su Qingni smiled and explained that her ancestors were also farmers in the flower country, and after going to the United States, they bought a farm to run. Because they missed their motherland in the previous lives, they set up earthen stoves on the farm and also got stone mills and other farm tools unique to the rural areas of the flower country. Director Zhang smiled when she heard this. She was sure that Su Qingni would become the most unexpected guest in this variety show, the most attractive and contrasting explosive point. Su Qingni was the last one to arrive. After all, she came from the United States. However, no one else complained. After all, Su Qingni was the biggest one. Although the other 5 people were famous in the flower country, They were only in the flower country. What's more, they were not the top and most famous in the flower country, so how could they compare with the Oscar-winning international superstar? These people were happy. The program team invited many stars, but they were all rejected. Only a few of them whose popularity was not as good as before and whose careers had declined accepted the invitation for money and various reasons, and joined the crew to suffer. They didn't have much hope for this program, but they didn't expect the crew to make a big move and invite an Oscar winner to participate in this program. Oscar winner. With such a publicity point, it would be strange if this program didn't become popular. They can also benefit from it. Maybe this program can be sold abroad for broadcast. Wouldn't they be known by the people of the world at that time? Thinking of this possibility, several people were so excited that they trembled. How dare they offend Su Qingni and complain about Su Qingni because of a little thing? After Su Qingni arrived, she was warmly welcomed by these stars. Su Qingni greeted everyone politely. On the plane, she learned all the information of the 5 people. The fact that these 5 people can participate in this kind of program dedicated to suffering shows that they have the spirit of suffering and are down-to-earth people. Such people have good character. This is also the fact. Although several people have been up and down in the entertainment industry for many years, they have all worked hard on their own. Although some of them have taken shortcuts and found financial sponsors, they have never done anything against their conscience. Chapter 888 Sister 9. The 5 people are singers, actors, hosts, models and popular actresses, 3 men and 2 women. Singers in Shu, actors on Zhu Ming, host Gu Xiaoxuan, model Xiong Yufei, popular actress Li Shanshan. All 5 are handsome men and beautiful women, and Su Qingni pays more attention to Gu Xiaoxuan. Gu Xiaoxuan is a good friend of the original body, but now Gu Xiaoxuan and Fu Mingxiao have fallen out. Gu Xiaoxuan criticized Fu Mingxiao many times in public, so she was suppressed by Ran Yingbo, and her career was almost ruined by the 2 of them. But Gu Xiaoxuan has her own abilities. She planned several popular variety shows by herself, which enabled her to gain a foothold in the variety show circle in the end. However, because of Ran Yingbo's suppression, her career was still affected to a certain extent. Su Qingni looked at Gu Xiaoxuan. Did this girl find out that Fu Mingxiao was not the original body? Huh? Su Qingni blinked and looked at Gu Xiaoxuan more carefully. Gu Xiaoxuan was puzzled by the look, touched her face, and asked, "Alice, is there anything wrong with my face?" "No, no." Su Qingni smiled and retracted her gaze. Gu Xiaoxuan actually had traces of time on her body. Could it be that she was reborn? Because of her rebirth, she knew that Fu Mingxiao had replaced her original body? Su Qingni decided to have a good communication with Gu Xiaoxuan when she had the chance. Now that everyone was there, the show began. The program team rented a helicopter and took the 6 people to the outskirts of a mountain. Their destination was in the mountain, and the 6 people had to walk there. Of course, other staff members took a helicopter to the village to wait for them. The 5 people looked at each other as they looked at the winding mountain road, and their faces fell together. How long will it take to walk? Fortunately, they knew that they were here to suffer on the show, so they didn't bring too many gifts, otherwise they would simply not go into the mountain, and it would be better to turn around and go back. Let's go. Su Qingni, carrying a small backpack, took the lead and walked up first. Seeing someone leading the way, the other 5 hurried to follow. Half an hour later, the 2 female stars were so tired that they dragged their feet and asked, "How long will it take to get there?" The 3 male stars looked up at the seemingly endless mountain road, and no one answered. They didn't know either. They were as tired as the 2 stars. If it weren't for the cameras following them, they would have wanted to lie on the ground. They were so tired. Seeing the 5 people, Su Qingni kindly said, "Give me your backpacks, I'll carry them for you." The 5 people looked at Su Qingni in disbelief. "Aren't you tired?" This refreshing little look really makes people jealous. Su Qingni smiled and said, "I have learned ancient martial arts, so this little distance is nothing." The 5 people then remembered that Su Qingni's information said that she knew ancient martial arts. Everyone thought that it was just a gimmick used by Su Qingni to attract fans. Could it be true? Seeing everyone's thoughts, Su Qingni said, "The most important reason why director Steven chose me to play the elf princess was that I know ancient martial arts and can jump flexibly between the trees without hanging wires. That must be King Gong, right?" The 5 people opened their mouths wide. Should they kowtow to the gods? They didn't kneel down, but the audience who saw this part knelt down. Ancient martial arts. The legendary Qingguang. Why are you so picky, the queen of the screen? Those directors who shoot martial arts and fairy tales are considering whether to invite Su Qingni to star in their works. The remuneration for inviting Su Qingni is high, but the return is also high. The heir of ancient martial arts. Looking at the stars of the Flower Kingdom, which one is the heir of ancient martial arts? Just this title can attract the attention of many people. Su Qingni took over the backpacks of the other 5 people and carried them in both hands. It seemed as if the backpacks had no weight and were extremely relaxed. This performance made the 5 people and the audience give thumbs up involuntarily. This one is simply a King Kong Barbie. By the way, the character setting is broken. Su Qingni doesn't care whether her character collapses or not. She relies on her acting skills to gain a foothold in Hollywood, not on her so-called character and appearance. She is not a traffic star. It took more than an hour to walk this way. Just when the 5 people were about to lie on the ground and couldn't get up, they finally arrived at their destination. After entering the village, the 5 people were helped by the staff to enter the residence. The staff prepared dinner for the 6 people, but the 5 people were too tired to eat and just wanted to lie down and rest. So they all went back to the room and fell asleep with the pillows on, without even complaining about the simplicity of the room. The room was indeed simple, with only a wooden bed, a table and a stool, and nothing else. The bed was only covered with straw mats and sheets, and it was hard to sleep on it. But fortunately, each person had a room and there was no camera in the room, so everyone had their own private space. Su Qingni went into the room after dinner and lay on the bed to rest. Today's mountain road was nothing to her. When she was on the Blue Water Star in the interstellar world, the mountain road she walked was more than 10 times that of today's mountain road. But on the first day, it's better not to look for trouble. Let's go to Guzai Oxon tomorrow night. She is exhausted today, let her have a good rest. Su Qingni woke up early the next morning. It was still dark outside. Su Qingni got up and left the house. She walked out. The darkness outside the house had no effect on her. She liked the environment of this mountain village. There was no noise, no pollution, except that the people living here were a little poor. It was really a paradise. Su Qingni thought about taking out all the remuneration for participating in the program to build roads in the village. As far as she knew, the program team also planned to do so. The program team chose this mountain village for the program, and the remuneration for the village was to help the village build roads. However, the program team had limited funds, and most of it was used to invite celebrities. The remaining money was used to build roads. They couldn't build very good roads. At most, they would reinforce some dangerous sections and provide some protection, and widen some sections so that bicycles could pass, but cars were out of the question. Su Qingni's remuneration was not small. After all, she was a famous figure. The amount was definitely more than the money left by the program group for building roads in the mountain village. Adding the remuneration from her last movie, it was enough to split the mountain and build a wide road leading directly out of the mountain. This way, it would be much faster and more convenient to come to the village. The villagers could also take the good things in the mountains down the mountain to exchange for money, so that their families could get rid of their poor lives. Of course, it was necessary to make it clear to the villagers that they must not destroy the natural environment of the mountain village. It's rare to have such a pure and natural mountain village. Su Qingni walked out of the yard and went up the mountain. There were many wild animals on the mountain. The little squirrels and hedgehogs were very cute, which made Su Qingni smile. Chapter 889 Sisters 10. After the show is broadcast, many people will definitely come to this mountain village. Even if the road is not repaired, many people will come. When there are too many people, even if the environment of the mountain village and the mountains is artificially protected, it will also affect the animals in the mountains. Su Qingni touched the furry tail of the little squirrel and walked into the deep mountains. This world does not allow cultivation of immortality, so it is not feasible to set up a formation barrier for the sky blue star like in the interstellar world. However, this world can practice internal skills, so the formation of the martial arts world can be used. Learn about the 5 elements and 8 diagrams formation. Su Qingni quickly selected 3 locations in the deep mountains, 2 valleys and a dense forest. Su Qingni decided to set up 3 formations in these 3 places, allowing animals to pass freely, and humans cannot pass through, and even cannot fill the valleys and dense forests. However, The scope of these 3 locations is not small, and Su Qingni cannot set up 3 formations in a short time. Fortunately, she has to live in the mountain village for 10 days. She will set up some every night, and she should be able to set up the formation by the end of the filming. By the way, after leaving the village, buy some materials and make some small gadgets that can block widget detection and place them in 3 locations. In this way, the original ecology of these 3 locations can be protected, and a paradise for the animals in the mountains to survive safely can be left. When I came out of the mountain, the sun had already come out, and the red morning light fell, covering the mountain village with a golden red veil, which was very beautiful. The villagers had all gotten up, and smoke rose from the roofs of every household. Only the residences of the guests participating in the program were quiet and there was no movement. The staff stood outside the yard, preparing to wake up the guests. Su Qingni saw one of the staff holding a gong in his hand, and the corners of her mouth twitched. But in the end, the staff did not ring the gong, and her colleague used another way to wake people up. The staff took out his mobile phone, connected it to the speaker, and started playing music. The vast horizon is my love, and the flowers are blooming at the foot of the endless green mountains. What kind of rhythm is the most swinging, and what kind of singing is the most cheerful? Su Qingni. She saw many villagers who were watching the excitement swaying to the music. It seems that square dancing is very attractive. Even farmers in remote mountainous areas can dance square dancing. Gu Xiaoxun and others rushed out of the room, staring at the staff who played the music with anger on their faces. The staff laughed and said to the 5 people, "The sun has risen, and everyone should get up and work. Don't sleep in." Everyone remembered that they were doing a show now, and the anger on their faces was put away. They forced a smile and asked, "What are we going to do today?" The staff smiled and said, "Today's work content is to harvest corn. Now, you have to make breakfast for yourself. You will have the strength to work after eating." The 5 people looked at each other, and Zan Zuming spoke first. "I can cook, but my skills are average." "What about you?" "Zin Shu, I can only make noodles." "Xiuang Yufei, I can only make instant noodles." "Gu Xiaoxun, I can also cook, I'll help you." Li Shanshan said, "I can't cook, but I can help. You can leave the washing of vegetables and dishes to me." Everyone looked at each other again and suddenly realized that one person was missing. "Huh? Where's Alice?" Zin Shu said. "Is she still sleeping?" "She was not woken up. She is so sleepy." Xiang Yufei said. Li Shanshan, "I'll go call her." She knocked on Su Qingni's door, but there was no response. "No need to knock. She is not on the room." Director Zhang spoke. She saw Su Qingni coming from afar. Everyone looked in the direction of Director Zhang and saw Su Qingni walking leisurely from outside the village. "Alice, you went out so early in the morning? Are you going out for morning exercise?" Li Shanshan called Su Qingni. Su Qingni smiled and greeted everyone one by one, and replied, "Yes, the environment in the mountains is very good, the climate is very fresh, and it is just right for exercise." Xiang Yufei said, "Then I will get up early tomorrow morning to exercise." He is a model and needs a good figure. Exercise is a must. It was because he was exhausted from walking on the mountain road yesterday that he did not get up early this morning. Me too. Zin Shu and Zan Zuming both expressed their desire to get up early. They also exercise all year round. As a singer, Zin Shu would get up early every day to warm up his voice, but Zan Zuming was not a popular actor, and he had to use a stand-in for scenes with heavy action. Zan Zuming was a dedicated actor, and he performed many thrilling actions by himself, showing great professionalism. This professionalism also led to his need for a strong body. Li Shanshan and Gu Xiaoxun eventually joined. Although they were extremely reluctant to get up early, the other 4 got up early, but they slept in, which would give the audience a bad impression. "Alice, can you cook?" Gu Xiaoxun asked. In fact, she didn't have any hope. Su Qingni was just a banana person, eating bread and hamburgers every day, right? How could she cook the food of the Flower Kingdom? There was no oven or bread machine in the mountain village, nor a frying pan for her to fry steak. "Yes," Su Qingni said with a smile, "I know some of the 8 major cuisines." Everyone thought Su Qingni was joking. Su Qingni smiled, "How about I make breakfast this morning?" "I'll do it," Zan Zuming said with a smile, wanting to give Su Qingni a way out, so as to prevent the actress from blowing her own trumpet. Su Qingni didn't say anything more, but followed Zan Zuming, Gu Xiaoxun and Li Shanshan into the kitchen. Zhan Zuming and others thought that Su Qingni had followed to help, so they didn't stop her. After entering the kitchen, several people first checked what was in the kitchen. However, apart from about a pound of flour, half a pound of rice, a small bowl of oil and some seasonings, there was nothing else. How could they do it? Cook porridge? Sure, but what about vegetables? How to eat without vegetables? Gu Xiaoxun said, there is a vegetable garden behind the house, where vegetables are grown. You can go there to pick some and bring them back. Then I'll go pick them. Li Shanshan said and left the kitchen. This is a clay stove, which needs to burn firewood. Zhan Zuming frowned. He knew how to cook, but he didn't know how to use this kind of clay stove to burn firewood. Gu Xiaoxun didn't know how to do it either. Su Qingni stepped forward and said, leave it to me. I can make a clay stove. Zhan Zuming and Gu Xiaoxun looked at Su Qingni in surprise. Su Qingni smiled and said, although my family emigrated abroad, we didn't lose some traditional things. My family originally had a farm, and my grandparents specially built a clay stove on the farm. I played with it when I was a child. Zhan Zuming and Gu Xiaoxun, your grandparents are really foresighted. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 890 Sisters 11. Gu Xiaoxun went to the wall to get matches, and Su Qingni started to make a fire. She was skilled in her movements, and the fire started in a short while. Zhan Zuming started to knead the dough, Gu Xiaoxun cooked porridge, and Su Qingni was responsible for lighting the fire. There was not much firewood, only enough to cook such a breakfast. So Zinshu and Xiang Yufei had already chopped wood in the yard. Everyone worked together to complete a breakfast. The breakfast was very simple, a pot of porridge, a few pancakes and 2 dishes. One was a cold cucumber salad, and the other was a stir-fried vegetable. Such a simple and plain dish, these stars also ate it very deliciously. After all, it was made by themselves. In addition, everyone was starving because they didn't eat last night. After breakfast, everyone changed into the clothes provided by the program group. The woman was wearing a flowered shirt and blue-black pants, and she looked like the girls Iafang in the village. With tools, everyone came to the cornfield. The men cut corn and the women broke corn, dividing the work and cooperating. Su Qingni looked at the 3 men who were struggling to cut corn and the 2 women who were breaking corn slowly, and the corners of her mouth twitched again and again. At this speed, the results of the day can be imagined. However, she did not show her strong fighting power, so she gave the 3 men some face. Sure enough, the low efficiency led to very few ingredients for lunch. The amount of rice and flour was not as much as in the morning. The vegetables could be eaten freely, but meat was out of the question. Everyone had a bitter face. They wanted to eat meat. Unfortunately, the program team was very strict. They only gave as much ingredients as they worked. But these rice and flour are not enough for the 6 of us. Zhan Zuming judged that the amount was not enough to eat while carrying rice and flour. The staff spread his hands. There is no way. Who told you that your workload can only be exchanged for so many things? Everyone. Zhan Zuming, but if we are not full, we will not be motivated to work, and the amount completed will be even less. Isn't this a vicious cycle? The staff laughed. If you want to eat enough, there is a way. What is the way? Everyone asked hurriedly. The staff asked someone to move out 2 large bags and put them in front of everyone, saying, you can pound the rice and grind the flour yourself, and you can eat as much as you want. Everyone. The cheating program team. Isn't it just to let them do it themselves to have enough food and clothing? Okay, let's do it. Everyone moved 2 large sacks of rice and wheat back to the yard where they lived. Fortunately, there was a stone mill and a stone mortar for pounding rice in the yard. Both were easy to operate, and Zinshu and Xiang Yufei started grinding flour immediately. Zhan Zuming wanted to pound the rice and leave the cooking to the women. However, both pushing the mill and pounding rice were strenuous work, especially pounding rice, which consumed a lot of energy. Zhan Zuming's arms became weak after pounding for only a while, and he couldn't lift the stone pestle. In the end, Su Qingni went to pound the rice, and Zhan Zuming followed the other 2 men to take turns pushing the mill. If Su Qingni didn't pound the rice, they might not be able to eat rice in the future. Su Qingni taught Li Shanshan how to make a fire, and then went to pound the rice. Estimating the time it would take for 3 grown men to grind the flour, Su Qingni pounded the rice leisurely, and only stopped pounding the rice 2 minutes after the 3 men finished grinding the flour. The afternoon and the evening passed by pounding and grinding the rice. The 6 people were tired after a day, and they fell asleep with their pillows touching. Su Qingni took a nap and opened her eyes at 4 in the morning. This is when people sleep the deepest, and the program group's camera equipment also stopped working. Su Qingni entered Gu Xiaoxuan's room quietly, and the door lock was useless to her. Gu Xiaoxuan. Su Qingni pushed Gu Xiaoxuan awake with her hand. When Gu Xiaoxuan opened her eyes, she saw a pair of eyes as deep as a cold pond, and her mind was immediately attracted by them. After hypnotizing Gu Xiaoxuan, Su Qingni asked what she wanted to know. Gu Xiaoxuan was indeed reborn, but she didn't know that Fu Mingxiao had replaced her original body. Fu Mingxiao had always kept her identity well hidden, and no one had discovered that she was not the original owner. In her previous life, Gu Xiaoxuan thought Fu Mingxiao was the original owner and treated her as a good girlfriend and friend, but she didn't expect to be stabbed in the back by this good girlfriend. In her previous life, Gu Xiaoxuan's career focus was not on hosting. She preferred acting and liked acting. Gu Xiaoxuan's acting career developed very well and she was much more famous than in this life. But Fu Mingxiao was not like that. Although Fu Mingxiao liked to be a star, her acting skills were really bad. Directors didn't want to use her anymore, and the audience also ridiculed her as a vase. If it weren't for Ran Yingbo's money to help pave the way, Fu Mingxiao would have been unable to make it in the entertainment industry long ago. In her previous life, Director Zhang was the director of the variety show Rural Life. Although she can only be a variety show director on TV now, a year later, Director Zhang will become a TV director because of a small-scale TV series. Every TV series she shoots becomes a hit, which makes Director Zhang's fame and status rise, and later he becomes a big director in the film industry. In the previous life, Director Zhang was going to shoot a big-budget Xiangxia TV series. People in the circle were very optimistic about it, and actresses were vying to join the crew. Fu Mingxiao naturally wanted to join, and wanted to be the heroine. But Director Zhang looked at Gu Xiaoxuan more. Ran Yingbo coerced and lured Director Zhang, and Director Zhang had to let Fu Mingxiao join his crew under pressure, but only let Fu Mingxiao be the second female lead, and chose Gu Xiaoxuan as the heroine. Fu Mingxiao was jealous of Gu Xiaoxuan because of this. It happened that an investor had a crush on Gu Xiaoxuan, so Fu Mingxiao cooperated with that person. Relying on the identity of Gu Xiaoxuan's best friend, he got Gu Xiaoxuan drunk and left her in the hotel, allowing the investor to succeed. Gu Xiaoxuan was betrayed by her best friend, angry and sad, and ran to Fu Mingxiao to settle the score, but encountered Fu Mingxiao and Ran Yingbo talking about secret things. Gu Xiaoxuan didn't hear clearly what the two were saying, but the two didn't believe that Gu Xiaoxuan didn't hear it. In order to keep it secret, the two killed Gu Xiaoxuan. Unexpectedly, Gu Xiaoxuan was reborn. After her rebirth, Gu Xiaoxuan regarded Fu Mingxiao as her enemy, and the hatred in her eyes was difficult to conceal for a while, and was discovered by Fu Mingxiao and Ran Yingbo. As a result, Gu Xiaoxuan no longer had the opportunity to develop in a wretched manner, and was suppressed by Fu Mingxiao and Ran Yingbo, which made her no longer have the same achievements and status as in her previous life. It can be said that Gu Xiaoxuan is the worst reborn person. Fortunately, Gu Xiaoxuan has the memory of her previous life, and knows which variety shows will be popular in a few years, so she made her own plans and became the host herself, which allowed her to gain a firm foothold in the hosting industry. Gu Xiaoxuan has hatred in her heart, and she wants revenge, but she has no connections or means, and she doesn't know how to take revenge on those two people. Did you really not hear the conversation between Fu Mingxiao and Ran Yingbo clearly? Su Qingni asked. Gu Xiaoxuan frowned and thought, I only heard a few nouns clearly, one of which is a person's name and one is a place name. Chapter 891 Sister 12. Su Qingni wrote down the names of people and places. She had a hunch that these two terms were related to Fu Mingxiao's unique product transactions. She still lacked some evidence, and she thought that by investigating this person in this place, she should be able to obtain important clues. After letting Gu Xiaoxuan sleep, Su Qingni returned to her room. Sitting on the bed, Su Qingni raised her left hand to her chin, and operated a decorative watch on her wrist with her right hand, and then a light screen appeared in front of her. This thing looked like a decorative watch, but it was actually a small optical computer made by Su Qingni using black technology. Although due to material limitations, the optical computer is not as good as the optical computer in the interstellar era, let alone the optical computer made by the masters of the underworld. It is much better than the current computers in this world. At least in terms of connecting to the network, it is 100 times and 1,000 times stronger than ordinary computers. Su Qingni's optical network can directly connect to the satellite, so she can continue to be a hacker in this remote mountain village with no signal. However, Fu Mingxiao only gave 2 names, and there are many homophones in the names, so the project to check is very large. Moreover, Su Qingni had to go to the mountains to set up the formation. After 10 days, only a few targets were roughly selected. The specific investigation has not yet begun. During these 10 days, several stars have suffered enough. Director Zhang is really cruel. He actually asked them to pick up manure and compost. Although the staff provided masks to each star, they could not block the ecstasy. Several stars worked while vomiting. In the end, Su Qingni and Zun Zuming worked together to complete the work. However, everyone saved the meals for this day. Well, this video received many likes from the audience after it was played. On this day, it was Su Qingni and Gu Xiaoxun's turn to go to the mountains to cut grass for pigs. The 2 carried large baskets and walked up the mountain with laughter. Gu Xiaoxun had a very good impression of Su Qingni. She felt that she was very speculative with Su Qingni, and everything Su Qingni said could touch her heart. She didn't know that Su Qingni had the memory of the original owner, and the original owner knew her preferences very well. Gu Xiaoxun squatted down to cut grass for pigs, and after a while, she suddenly screamed. Su Qingni hurried over and found that she was bitten by a snake. Don't worry, it's not a poisonous snake. Su Qingni glanced at the rat snake next to her and comforted Gu Xiaoxun. Gu Xiaoxun was relieved, and suddenly picked up a stone next to her and smashed it on the head of the rat snake. Did she mistake the rat snake for Fu Mingxiao? Su Qingni twitched her lips and helped Gu Xiaoxun down the mountain. The rat snake was made into snake soup by Zun Zuming that night. Although the rat snake is not poisonous, the program team still arranged for a doctor to check Gu Xiaoxun's wound. The doctor was specially invited by the program team to deal with the sudden physical discomfort or accidents of the guests. It was just a small wound, and it was not poisonous, so Gu Xiaoxun didn't care. However, 2 days later, Gu Xiaoxun began to be listless, yawning from time to time, as if she hadn't woken up. But she obviously had to sleep for at least an hour every day. Everyone felt strange, but didn't think too much, but Su Qingni felt that Gu Xiaoxun's symptoms were very similar to the initial reaction of taking something. After that, Gu Xiaoxun went to see the accompanying doctor, and she felt much better after she came back. After that, she went to see the accompanying doctor every other day, and Gu Xiaoxun's spirit became as good as possible. This made Su Qingni even more suspicious, and she also doubted the accompanying doctor. The 10-day rural life was over, and everyone left the village happily and reluctantly. Su Qingni found Director Zhang and entrusted her with the matter of donating money to build roads. By the way, she asked Director Zhang for Gu Xiaoxun's address. Su Qingni went to the door according to the address. Gu Xiaoxun was wearing clothes for going out, and she looked like she was about to go out. Seeing Su Qingni coming to the door, Gu Xiaoxun was stunned. Although she and Su Qingni got along well during the show, she didn't tell Su Qingni her home address. How did Su Qingni find her? What did she come to see her for? Are you going out? Su Qingni asked. Well, I wanted to find Dr. Lin and ask her to give me an injection. My problem has come back again. She yawned loudly. Su Qingni frowned and said to her assistant, take Xiao Zhang to the coffee shop downstairs for a cup of coffee. Her assistant immediately took Gu Xiaoxun's assistant out. Su Qingni closed the door and carefully checked Gu Xiaoxun's room, but did not find any listening devices in it. Gu Xiaoxun followed Su Qingni blankly and walked around her house, and asked in confusion, what are you looking for? What are you doing at my house? Can't you tell me over the phone if you have something to say? Su Qingni sighed and said, Xiaoxun, don't you find that your so-called illness is abnormal? Gu Xiaoxun's expression froze and her eyebrows locked. She didn't think much about it before, but now after Su Qingni's reminder, some things seem wrong when she thinks about them. She was just bitten by a rat snake, and it wasn't poisonous, so how could she suddenly get sick? Was she tricked? Just tell me what you know. Gu Xiaoxun said. She thought Su Qingni had discovered something, so she came to find her and sent the others away. I've seen people who are addicted to gambling. When they are addicted to gambling, they look like you. Su Qingni said. Gu Xiaoxun's expression suddenly cracked, and she said in shock and anger, "You said I was addicted to gambling. Su Qingni, you didn't take it, but someone injected poison into your body." Gu Xiaoxun was so angry that her whole body was shaking. What else is there to not understand? She was calculated by someone. Dr. Lin took the opportunity to treat her injuries and injected her with a unique drug. She didn't find it, and took the initiative to find Dr. Lin to continue to poison herself. Why did she want to harm me? Gu Xiaoxun didn't understand. She had no grudges with Dr. Lin. Why would she inject herself with a unique drug? She must have been bribed. Su Qingni said. Gu Xiaoxun immediately thought of the culprit and said with gritted teeth, "Su Qingni." Su Qingni raised her eyelids and said, "It's Fu Mingzhao." What? Gu Xiaoxun's anger paused for a moment because of a name she had never heard of, and asked in confusion, "Who is Fu Mingzhao? My only enemy is Su Qingni. I have never even heard of this Fu Mingzhao's name." Su Qingni did not answer but asked instead, "Don't you think that the current Su Qingni is very different from the Su Qingni you knew before?" "It's indeed very different, could it be?" Gu Xiaoxun remembered the plot of a TV series she had played. The current Su Qingni is not Su Qingni? Is it a stand-in? Su Qingni nodded. The real Su Qingni has died in the Amazon River, and now Fu Mingzhao is a wanted criminal. Chapter 892 13 Sisters. Su Qingni told Gu Xiaoxun about the grievances between her original body and Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao. Gu Xiaoxun was stunned and did not respond for a long time. After a long while, her mouth began to move, making mosquito-like sounds. Su Qingni had sharp hearing and heard her words clearly. "It turns out that I hated the wrong person. It turns out that Qingni had been killed by those two bitches. If I could find out in my previous life, if I knew the conspiracy of Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo earlier in this life, I could have saved Qingni. I am Qingni's best friend. She is so different from Fu Mingzhao, but I never doubted her. I was reborn and still regarded Qingni as an enemy and plotted against her." From the words, Su Qingni heard Gu Xiaoxun's guilt and regret for the death of her original body, and couldn't help but sigh. It is really unacceptable to take revenge on the wrong person. But it is not Gu Xiaoxun's fault. No one would have thought that the original body would be framed and replaced by her twin sister. Su Qingni spoke only after Gu Xiaoxun had completely accepted the confidence and recovered her mood. "You should find a regular drug rehabilitation center and quit drugs quickly." Su Qingni said, "Your gambling addiction is not serious now. If you bear it yourself and receive scientific treatment, you will be cured soon." Gu Xiaoxun's face was very ugly. "I can't go to a drug rehabilitation center. If I go, I will definitely be dug up by paparazzi. I will quit drugs at home." Su Qingni said that she didn't believe it. Everyone who has been addicted to drugs says that they can quit drugs by themselves with perseverance, but few succeed. They say they can quit, but the result is that they get deeper and deeper. If you are worried about the paparazzi, don't quit drugs in China, go abroad. Su Qingni said, "I can help you contact the drug rehabilitation center in the United States." Gu Xiaoxun's heart moved. This is a good idea. In fact, she is not very confident that she can quit drugs. Now she wants to go to Dr. Lin for injections whenever she has health problems. Isn't it because she can't stand the gambling addiction? Then I'll leave it to you. Gu Xiaoxun said to Su Qingni. Since the other party already knew that she had a gambling addiction, it would not be a big deal to accept his help. I thought that the other party, an Oscar-winning international superstar, would not use this matter to control a second-tier domestic host like me. However, how do you know about Qingni and Fu Mingzhao? Do you have a grudge against Fu Mingzhao? Indeed, there is a grudge. Su Qingni nodded. She couldn't say that she had occupied the body of the original body and wanted to avenge the original body, so she made up a reason and said, Fu Mingzhao's parents are big drug lords, and she herself followed her parents to do many evil things, so she is a wanted criminal. One of my friends died because of Fu Mingzhao's identity. So your friend is also a victim. Gu Xiaoxun recognized Su Qingni more after hearing this. After knowing Fu Mingzhao's identity, thinking about her own death in her previous life, Gu Xiaoxun understood that she should have bumped into Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo discussing drug trafficking, and they thought she knew what they were doing, so she was killed by the two. Gu Xiaoxuan sighed and said hatefully, Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo deserve to die. I must expose their true faces and avenge Qingni and me. Leave this matter to me. Su Qingni said, you can't beat them. If they find out that you know Fu Mingzhao's identity, your only fate will be death. Fu Mingzhao is a petty woman who will never let go of any grudge. You can tell from the way she designed you to become addicted to gambling. You just had a falling out with her, but she treated you like this. If she finds out that you know her true identity, I'm afraid you will disappear from this world forever. Gu Xiaoxuan shuddered when she heard this, and a deep fear rose on her face. It seemed that the death in her previous life had left her with a deep psychological shadow. After a long while, Gu Xiaoxuan said to Su Qingni, Alice, please help me contact a drug rehabilitation center abroad as soon as possible. I want to go abroad as soon as possible. Su Qingni nodded, okay, I'll ask my assistant to contact them later. Then he said soothingly, rest well in the gambling rehabilitation center abroad, don't think too much. When you return home healthy, the problem will be solved. You can visit Fu Mingzhao in prison. Gu Xiaoxuan stared at Su Qingni's eyes and nodded, thank you. Su Qingni smiled, we are all wanderers in the world, no need to say thank you. I'm not helping you. Gu Xiaoxuan also smiled, I always feel that I am very speculative with you. If I wasn't sure that I hadn't seen you, I would have thought we knew each other before. Su Qingni smiled, maybe this is fate. She looked at Gu Xiaoxuan's tears and snot, and she quickly got up and said goodbye. No one wants others to see their embarrassed side. The assistant was very fast. In just one day, he contacted a gambling rehabilitation center with world-class equipment and services. Gu Xiaoxuan went abroad 2 days later. Su Qingni also identified the two from many place names and names. By investigating the address and the person, Su Qingni found extremely important evidence. A dog will never change its nature. Fu Mingzhao's acting skills are not good, but he is very capable of doing evil. However, in just a few years, he has established a larger DU trafficking network than the one her parents built. In recent years, many people in the entertainment industry have been harmed by Fu Mingzhao's DU. Ran Yingbo knew all of Fu Mingzhao's evil deeds. Although he did not participate in it, it is also a crime to cover up for him. After getting the evidence, Su Qingni did not hand it over to the police in Huaguo immediately. She also wanted to visit Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao. After all, one of them was the boyfriend of the original body, and the other was the biological sister of the original body. By the way, there is also Su's mother. Su Qingni wanted to see this mother who was so devoted to her daughter. Would she feel guilty? In the middle of the night, Su Qingni left her residence and drove a rented car to the vicinity of Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo's villa. After turning on the optical computer, emitting interference waves, and shielding all surveillance cameras in the community, Su Qingni entered the villa where the adulterous couple lived. It happened that both of them were at home. Seeing the face that was exactly the same as the original, Su Qingni frowned in disgust. Originally, she wanted to wake up the two and beat them up. In the end, Su Qingni gave up this plan. She took out a red marker and wrote big words on the faces and foreheads of the two people. She wrote the 3 words murderer on Ran Yingbo's face, and his real name on Fu Mingzhao's face. The function of this marker is very good. The words written on people's faces will not be washed off for 10 days or half a month. After finishing this issue, Su Qingni left the villa and went to where Su's mother lived. Chapter 893 Sisters 14. Although Su's mother wanted to stay by her daughter's side and take care of her and compensate her daughter, whom she had not seen for more than 20 years, Fu Mingzhao had no feelings for her. Even if he knew that she was his biological mother, he could not have much mother-daughter affection. How could he be willing to live with her? Such a biological mother with a problem in her head could abandon her daughter who had lived with her for more than 20 years just because of a little guilt towards her. Who knows if one day she would suddenly think of the goodness of another daughter, feel guilty about that daughter, and attack her own daughter again. Fu Mingzhao could not put the danger by his side. However, seeing that Su's mother was her biological mother and helped her, she did not kill Su's mother. She just had a lukewarm relationship with Su's mother. When she could use Su's mother, she would use her ruthlessly. Su's mother didn't know that Fu Mingzhao had already used her to participate in drug trafficking. After Su Qingni exposed this matter, Su's mother would go to the prison to meet her daughter. The door lock of the Su family was not a problem for Su Qingni at all. Su Qingni sneaked into the Su family like a ghost and entered Su's mother's bedroom. Su's mother also frowned when she slept. I don't know what she dreamed about. But did she dream about her other daughter, the daughter she felt the most sorry for? Su Qingni stood at the head of Su's mother's bed and watched for a while, then stepped back a few steps, hid her body in the shadows, and hit the person on the bed with all her strength. Su's mother opened her eyes and was a little confused. Why did she wake up suddenly? It was still late. She took out her mobile phone to check the time, but it was only 4 o'clock in the morning. Close your eyes and sleep for a while. Su's mother put down her mobile phone and was about to close her eyes and continue to sleep, when suddenly a familiar voice came from her ears. Mom. Qingni? Why are you back? Did you have a conflict with Yibo? Su's mother heard her daughter's voice and asked worriedly. She was about to get out of bed to pull her daughter onto the bed and ask her daughter about her grievances in detail. But she heard the voice laugh, and the next sentence made her freeze in bed. Mom's heart is really biased. When she heard my voice, the first person she thought of was Fu Mingzhao. Is Fu Mingzhao the only daughter in Mom's heart? Then what am I? What about the 20 years of dependence on each other? Mother Su felt cold all over. Is this Qingni coming back? Exclamation mark. Qingni, you are back. Yes, I came back with great difficulty, and wanted to see Mom for the last time before going to the underworld to reincarnate. I didn't expect that Mom became someone else's, and my identity was replaced by someone else, who was my twin sister, together with my enemy. It turned out that I was premeditatedly killed so that my twin sister could replace my identity. And my mother, my dearest person, obviously discovered the truth but concealed it, and continued to be mother and daughter with the person who killed me, erasing my existence. I hate it. I hate it. As he spoke, he used his internal force to create a strong wind, which flew in the room, smashing many small ornaments in the room, creating a gloomy appearance in the whole room. Mother Su was so frightened that she shrank into a corner beside the bed, convinced that the ghost of the original body had returned. The little doubt she had before disappeared. Qingni, don't be like this. It's not that Mom doesn't love you. It's just that your sister hasn't been by Mom's side for more than 20 years. Mom feels guilty about her, so I want to compensate her. Su Qingni sneered. Fu Mingzhao has lived a life like a princess since she was a child, unlike me who has suffered so much with you. She has parents who love her and is much happier than me. What do you have to feel guilty about? If you have to feel guilty, you should feel guilty towards me, right? If you hadn't violated the contract and took me away without authorization, I could have lived a life like a princess, instead of giving up college after graduating from high school to make money to support the family. You have to know that getting into a good university and living a happy college life was once one of the original owner's dreams. Before going to the African jungle, the original owner had planned to go to college for further studies, but she didn't come back, so she never had the chance to realize this dream. Su's mother cried, "Are you blaming me?" Su Qingni, yes. Wow. Su's mother burst into tears and said, "How can you blame me? I don't want you to live a bad life. It's just that there are problems in the family that we can't let you live the life of a little princess. But even if the material conditions cannot satisfy you, I will satisfy you emotionally. Am I not good to you? I gave all the good things bought at home to you and your grandfather. I work 3 jobs a day. In addition to earning medical expenses for your grandfather, I also earn tuition for you. I treat you so well, how can you blame me?" Su Qingni sneered again. "I earned my tuition after junior high school by working part-time, and you used all the money you earned to pay for grandpa's medical expenses. This is filial piety, and I won't say much. But please don't say that you work hard to make money for me. For my sake, you won't acquiesce in me not going to college and going to the entertainment industry to make money to support the family." Su's mother cried, But I gave you everything I thought was best, and my motherly love for you is not fake at all. Su Qingni, don't ever mention the word maternal love. Your maternal love for me is not as good as your maternal love for Fu Mingzhao, right? Otherwise, you clearly found out that Fu Mingzhao was not me. Why did you help her cover up? Let her take away my identity. Su's mother was stuck for a moment, and she couldn't cry anymore because she felt guilty. After a while, Su's mother finally spoke hesitantly. "You were dead at that time, and your sister was still alive. I wanted to have my daughter by my side. I can't let the living suffer for the dead." The more she spoke, the smaller her voice became. She knew that this idea was very unreasonable. She was shielding a murderer, and the murderer who killed her own daughter. Su Qingni sneered. Such a mother. Even the most beautiful woman in the world is not like Su's mother. Fortunately, the original body is no longer here. Su Qingni asked a question that the original body wanted to know. Do you regret it? I regret it, I regret it. Su's mother cried. Su Qingni sighed. This answer was not sincere at all, but was afraid of the answer given by the ghost of her daughter. Judging from what Su's mother just said, she has never regretted it. In her heart, Fu Mingzhao, this daughter, is more important than her original self. Su Qingni once again released a stream of energy to knock out Su's mother, and left the Su family quietly and silently. When Su's mother woke up the next day, she thought she had a nightmare at night, dreaming that her dead little daughter came to her for an explanation. Su's mother thought it was a dream because of her guilty conscience, but she was frightened when she saw the broken ornaments on the floor. It turned out that she was not dreaming, and her little daughter turned into a ghost and really came to find her. People really can't do bad things, or ghosts will really come to their door in the middle of the night. Chapter 894 Sister 15. Su Qingni returned to her residence and immediately sent the evidence she had to the police. The next day, when the police officers saw the evidence sent by email at work, they immediately took action, first confirming the authenticity of the evidence, then forming a special task force, and then sending people to arrest people. Police officers from all over the city, including those from other places and even the border, took action together to arrest drug dealers. Many of these drug dealers were wanted by them but were not caught. Unexpectedly, they could catch them all this time. The police officers were very excited. Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao were the main culprits, and the police officers dispatched captains and above to lead the team to arrest them. Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao woke up early in the morning and found that the words on each other's faces and the words on their own faces were all scared. They were not like Su's mother, who thought that it was Su Qingni's ghost coming back for revenge. They thought that someone knew their details and came to warn them. They wanted to escape and wanted to go abroad. But there were words on their faces. How could they go out? Sunglasses can't cover the words on their faces. Even if you wear a mask, you must take it off during security checks. So they could only stay at home, waiting for the words to be washed off before going abroad. During this period, Ran Yingbo stopped going to the company. Fu Mingzhao also turned down work, and the two also gave the hired workers of the villa a holiday, just to prevent people from seeing their current appearance. As a result, the police uncle came to arrest them. Not only did the police uncle see the words on their faces, but even the paparazzi who were nesting outside the community saw the words on their faces, and took pictures and posted them online for all netizens to see. Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao were about to collapse. The police uncles thought that Su Qingni was the leader of the drug dealers, but after seeing the words on Fu Mingzhao's face, they remembered the case they had handled before, and one of the drug dealers on the run was called Fu Mingzhao. So the police uncles went back to look through the previous files and saw the photo of Fu Mingzhao, and found that it was exactly the same as Su Qingni. A guess emerged in the minds of the police uncles. Today's Su Qingni is actually Fu Mingzhao. She replaced Su Qingni's identity and jumped in front of everyone. Such a bold move did not even raise doubts among the police officers. I am afraid that Su Qingni is in danger. I just don't know when did Fu Mingzhao replace Su Qingni? The word murderer was written on Fu Mingzhao's face. Was it because he killed Su Qingni? Who wrote the words on the faces of these two people? Was it the person who sent the email to expose them? The police uncles were very curious about the person who sent the email, but unfortunately the other party's hacker level was too high and they couldn't find him. This made the police uncles very regretful. With the speculation, the police uncles interrogated Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo, but unfortunately both of them kept their mouths shut and refused to talk about the murder of Su Qingni. In the end, they pried open the mouth from Su's mother and learned that Su Qingni was taken into the African jungle by Ran Yingbo. I think Ran Yingbo killed Su Qingni at that time and let Fu Mingzhao steal her identity. The police officers felt sorry for Su Qingni and despised her mother, Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo. Su Qingni was their relative, but they had the heart to kill her. Her mother even helped to conceal the truth. Su Qingni was really pitiful. She had such a mother and sister, and their death was so unjust. All three were sentenced to serious crimes. Fu Mingzhao was sentenced to death, Ran Yingbo was sentenced to life imprisonment, and Su's mother was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Well, she would not be sentenced so heavily for shielding Fu Mingzhao from the news of Su Qingni's death. Who told her to choose the daughter who betrayed her mother? She was used by Fu Mingzhao and helped him carry poison several times. Fu Mingzhao did not have the idea of a dying man speaking well, and he did not have a mother-daughter relationship with Su's mother. He would not help Su's mother to figure out whether he was using her. Instead, he pushed all the blame onto Su's mother. Su's mother had no evidence to prove that she was innocent, so she could only accept the punishment of the law. She deserved it. Who told her to be blind and choose a venomous snake as her daughter for the so-called guilt, abandoning the daughter who really treated her well and cared about her? This is retribution. Su Qingni got the ending of Su's mother, Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo, so she decided to leave and return to Hollywood. After booking a plane ticket online, Su Qingni went out shopping alone while there was still time, to buy more Huaguo delicacies to take back. She put on makeup so that ordinary people could not recognize that she was a star, and an Oscar-winning actress. But there are many people with sharp eyes in this world. Su Qingni bought a lot of things and found a drink shop to rest. Just as she was holding a drink to drink, two people sat down on the seat opposite. They were police uncles in police uniforms. One was in his 20s and full of vigor. The other was about 40 years old, with a pair of very sharp eyes that could see through all disguises. "Hello, Miss Alice, I am Su Yang, the captain of the Criminal Police Brigade of City A." The middle-aged man introduced himself. Su Qingni raised her eyebrows. "I put on makeup that looks nothing like my usual appearance, but Captain Su could recognize me." Su Yang smiled. "For those in our line of work, it is important to be observant. Miss Alice just changed her appearance, her figure and voice have not changed." Su Qingni praised, "Captain Su must be a very capable police officer. You are flattering me. When it comes to being capable, we are not as good as you, Miss Alice." Su Yang said. Su Qingni raised her eyebrows. "What does this mean?" "Su Yang, Miss Alice had someone expose the matter of Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo, right? Why do you think it was me?" Su Qingni was surprised. She did not leave any clues, and it was even more impossible to find her on the internet. Her hacking skills were unmatched by anyone in the world. Su Yang said, "When we investigated Su Qingni, we found that Miss Alice was also in the African jungle during the time when Su Qingni disappeared. We speculated that Miss Alice should have seen Miss Su Qingni in the jungle, and thus knew that Fu Mingzhao was a fake. As soon as Miss Alice came to China, the matter between Fu Mingzhao and Ran Yingbo was exposed. It should be Miss Alice who avenged Miss Su Qingni, right?" Su Qingni applauded like a little seal and praised the police uncle. Su Yang is really amazing. Except for not knowing that she is actually Su Qingni, he deduced everything else. It turns out that no one can be underestimated. Su Qingni showed a beautiful smile. "Yes, I have seen Su Qingni. At that time, she finally escaped from the crocodile's mouth and only had her last breath left. Before she died, she told me her story." Chapter 895 16 Sisters. "After all, we are Chinese compatriots, and we met in such a dangerous place as the African jungle. It is fate. In addition, I am not ashamed of Ran Yingbo's behavior, so I agreed to help Su Qingni get revenge." Su Qingni said, "I commissioned a mercenary ranked relatively high in the world to help investigate the evidence that Ran Yingbo and Fu Mingzhao killed Su Qingni, but I didn't expect to find evidence of Fu Mingzhao's drug trafficking. It can be considered lucky. Thank you, Miss Alice, this time." Su Yang thanked Su Qingni again. They have been tracing this unique network line, and they didn't think that Fu Mingzhao is the mastermind behind the scenes. If Su Qingni hadn't provided them with evidence, they didn't know how long it would take to find Fu Mingzhao. During this period, it is unknown how many people will be harmed. Su Qingni nodded to accept Su Yang's thanks. Her eyes swept over Su Yang several times, which made Su Yang feel a little embarrassed, and he said goodbye. "Don't leave in a hurry." Su Qingni called Su Yang with a smile. In the eyes of Su Yang and his young colleague Zhang Yu, the smile was like a little fox seeing a chicken, which made Su Yang, who was sensitive, shudder. Su Yang felt as if he had turned into a delicious piece of pork belly. The woman opposite him was drooling over him, as if she wanted to swallow him in one bite. "Miss Alice, do you have anything else to do?" Su Yang asked with forced calmness. Su Qingni smiled slightly and asked, "Captain Su, are you married?" It is impossible for a man of 40 to not get married. Su Qingni thought so when she recognized Su Yang, and she was still very angry. However, after secretly using the optical brain to check the information of Su Yang, she was satisfied. Su Yang was born in the countryside. He joined the army at the age of 18, and then he was admitted to the military academy and joined the special forces. In an operation, Su Yang was seriously injured and had difficulties in fertility. After Su Yang knew his situation, he rejected the wife candidate that his parents in his hometown helped him find, and asked the girl to find someone else to marry. He will never have children in his life, and he doesn't want other women to suffer with him. At the age of 32, Su Yang was seriously injured again during a mission, so he withdrew from the special forces and transferred to the public security department as a criminal policeman. Because of his keen observation and the various knowledge he learned in the special forces, Su Yang was able to solve all the cases he took over, catch the murderer, and made many contributions. It is reported that the director of the Public Security Bureau of City A is about to retire, and Su Yang will take over the position of director. No. Su Yang replied coldly, and the whole person became alert. That's good. Su Qingni smiled and said, I fell in love with you at first sight, let's get married. Zhang Yu's jaw almost dropped. What did he hear? A woman proposed to the captain. Or did the international superstar Oscar actress propose to the captain? Is there something wrong with the eyes of this Oscar actress? She doesn't like such a young and handsome guy in front of her, but she actually likes the uncle. Could it be that Beijing Meets Seattle was also released abroad? Zhang Yu was thinking about all sorts of things, while Su Yang's face darkened. Miss Alice, don't joke around. I'm not kidding. Su Qingni stared at Su Yang and said, I really like you. I want to be your wife. If you don't agree, I will pester you until you agree. Su Yang saw determination in Su Qingni's eyes. He knew that the woman in front of him really liked him and was not playing tricks on him. He and Zhang Yu had the same idea. Could the woman in front of him be influenced by the movie? Su Yang raised his hand and rubbed his rough face, and asked, What do you like about me? I am old, a rough man, and just an ordinary policeman. I am not worthy of you at all. You should have seen many men who are better and more outstanding than me, and you should find them. Su Qingni snorted and said, I just like you. No matter how good other men are, it is none of my business. So what if you are old? I like uncles. You look to my eye, have a good figure, and have the charm of a mature man. I like you like this. Hearing Su Qingni's enthusiastic praise, Su Yang's ears turned red. Zhang Yu couldn't help but click his tongue in his heart. Women who grew up in foreign countries are really bold. Su Yang liked what Su Qingni said, and he was actually happy and proud that such a beautiful woman liked him and pursued him boldly. But thinking of his own body, Su Yang still rejected Su Qingni with a sullen face. Sorry, I am a non-marriage person and will not get married. Su Qingni blinked her eyes. She understood Su Yang's thoughts. Although she was happy that he did not touch other women, she could not help but feel pity for him. What man does not want a wife and children to live in, unless the man is a gay? But Su Qingni could not reveal that she was a hacker, nor could she let Su Yang know that she was investigating him. She was afraid that Su Yang would be afraid of her, and she was also afraid that Su Yang would think too much. After all, he is now a policeman, and he might associate her behavior with something bad. Do you like men? You don't like me. Su Yang was so angry that he abandoned his usual calmness and exploded. Su Qingni, since you don't like men, then I still have a chance. As long as I don't give up, sooner or later I will make you accept me. No. Su Yang sighed and decided to reveal his scars to Su Qingni. Anyway, many people knew about this matter. He talked about his body when he refused others to introduce him to a partner. I was once seriously injured and I can't have my own children for the rest of my life. Su Qingni blinked and smiled. It just so happens that I don't like children and don't want to have children. I just want to find a companion and grow old together. Su Yang didn't believe Su Qingni's words. How could a woman not want to be a mother and have her own children? Su Qingni knew that he didn't believe her words. She rolled her eyes and made up an excuse. I was injured when I went on an adventure in the African jungle and it was difficult for me to get pregnant. So I'm the same as you. Then she threw a coquettish look at Su Yang. Do we count as husband and wife following each other's footsteps and sympathizing with each other? Is it fate in heaven? Su Yang couldn't stand it. He didn't believe Su Qingni's words that she couldn't have children. He just thought that Su Qingni was lying to him. Facing Su Qingni, Su Yang really couldn't resist and ran away in a panic. Zhang Yu hurriedly caught up, feeling very happy. It's rare to see his captain in such an embarrassing moment. Miss Alice is worthy of being the movie queen. She even forced her own captain to flee. Chapter 896 Sister 17. Su Qingni couldn't help laughing as she watched Su Yang leave. The prey had already flown in front of her. Could she still allow it to run away? The assistant looked anxious and asked carefully, Alice, are you really interested in this man? Yes. Su Qingni glanced at the assistant, knowing her thoughts, and said, don't worry, even if I will live in Flower Country most of the time in the future, I will not lose my job in Hollywood, and you will still be my assistant. When I am not in Hollywood, you can take it as a holiday. I will pay your salary as usual. What a blessing. You can get paid without working. The assistant smiled widely, no longer worried about losing his job. Su Qingni is a man of action, and the next day she got a hospital diagnosis and went to find Su Yang. The people in the criminal investigation team learned from Zhang Yu that the Oscar-winning actress was pursuing their boss, and most people didn't believe it, but today the actress came to see their boss in person. Their gossipy hearts suddenly burned, and they were all waiting to see the fun. As soon as Su Qingni came in, she noticed many people secretly watching her. She smiled, said hello to everyone, asked about the location of Su Yang's office, and walked towards Su Yang's office in her high heels. Everyone whispered behind Su Qingni. Wow! It's really Alice. The boss is awesome. He can make an international superstar fall in love with him at first sight. By the way, is there something wrong with the queen's eyesight? Why did she fall for the boss? What? You think the boss is not good? No, of course the boss is good. It's just that the boss is over 40 years old. Doesn't the queen think the boss is too old? Alice is over 30 years old too, right? People in the entertainment industry get married late. The boss's age is not considered old in the entertainment industry. Yeah, that's right. It's mainly because celebrities are so good at taking care of themselves. They look much younger than their actual age. Our boss is different. He has been working so hard all these years and looks older than he actually is. It's mainly because the boss doesn't have a wife to take care of him. After the boss gets married to the queen, he will definitely get younger and younger with the queen's skincare formula. Yeah, I hope the queen can get the boss. Otherwise, the boss will be alone and work overtime in the bureau during the new year. Although these voices were small, they all fell into Su Qingni's ears. Su Qingni felt even more distressed for Su Yang. She had already walked to the door of Su Yang's office, raised her hand and knocked gently on the door. Su Yang had received the news from Zhang Yu a long time ago, and knew that Su Qingni was coming. At this moment, he paced in the office, forcing himself to calm down. He had a different feeling about Su Qingni. It was as if he had been waiting for this woman all his life. That's why he didn't reject her directly and coldly like he did to other women, but fled on his own. But now that she has come to his door, can he still escape? He can't escape. But will he accept it? Given his physical condition, he shouldn't harm the girl, right? He just found that he couldn't refuse her as hard and coldly as he had refused other women in the past. What should he do? Before he could figure out what to do, the door was knocked. Su Yang pursed his lips and said nothing, trying to pretend that there was no one in the office. He just hoped that Su Qingni would think he was not there and leave. Unfortunately, Su Qingni had already inquired about the situation. Su Yang's men also betrayed him. Su Qingni knew Su Yang was in the office. Seeing that he hadn't responded for a long time, Su Qingni stopped being a polite lady and simply turned the doorknob, opened the door, and walked into the office. How did you get in? Su Yang stuttered and accused, his face comparable to Guan Eri. Su Qingni closed the door, blocking all curious eyes outside the door, and walked towards Su Yang. Su Yang stepped back involuntarily, so Su Qingni walked forward and pushed Su Yang to the wall. Su Yang had his back against the wall and had nowhere to retreat. Su Qingni stretched out a hand to support herself on the wall, making a classic wall dong pose, and breathed into Su Yang's ear, "How can I see you if I don't come in? You step back, don't get so close." Su Yang was about to burn up. He wanted to push Su Qingni away, but he was afraid that his strength was too great and he would hurt Alice, so he didn't dare to move. A series of laughter came out of Su Qingni's mouth and entered Su Yang's ears, causing him to feel numb all over. "We will be husband and wife sooner or later, why are you so shy?" Hearing the three words husband and wife, Su Yang's rationality returned, and the previous nervousness and fantasy disappeared at once. Using the agility he had used to escape from the hands of the bandits, Su Yang broke away from Su Qingni's wall dong, took 2 or 3 steps back to his desk, and his expression became serious. "Miss Alice, please respect yourself." Su Qingni withdrew her hand, turned around, and put away her smile. "I'm serious, I seriously want to be your wife? Su Yang said with a stern face, but I don't want to be your husband. You should leave quickly, don't cling to a man like this, it's embarrassing. Su Yang wanted to use unpleasant words to anger Su Qingni and make Su Qingni disappointed in him. But Su Qingni didn't mind at all, she understood Su Yang's concerns. Su Qingni didn't say anything more and showed Su Yang the hospital diagnosis. This is a diagnosis issued by a hospital in China. Fortunately, Su Yang's English is not bad. He can read and write fluently. He has no difficulty in reading the English certificate and can easily understand the contents on it. Su Yang put down the certificate with a complicated expression and looked at Su Qingni. Su Qingni raised her eyebrows at him. Su Yang said, "You won't forge the diagnosis." "Yes, it is indeed forged." The person who issued the diagnosis is a friend of Su Qingni, the type of bad friends. Hearing that Su Qingni wanted such a diagnosis in order to deceive someone to be his husband, he forged a diagnosis and sent it to Su Qingni without saying a word. Su Qingni drooped her mouth and pretended to be unhappy. "Look carefully, this is a diagnosis from a regular hospital. Where can I forge it?" Although there are many vendors in Huaguo who make fake certificates, they can't make fake certificates from abroad. Su Yang thought about it and it was right. Could it be that what was said in the diagnosis was true? The look in his eyes when he looked at Su Qingni changed, and he couldn't help but feel pity. Su Qingni noticed that pity and was proud of herself. It was done. Your body is not hopeless. Doesn't the diagnosis say that you still have a chance to be a mother if you get proper treatment? Su Yang said. Su Qingni shook her head. An ordinary woman's 1 in 1,000 chance is not much different from no chance at all. Instead of expecting that 1 in 1,000 chance, it's better to live a happy life with a person you love. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 897 I Am Phoenix Male 1. Su Qingni and Su Yang finally got married, and they lived happily all their lives. Su Yang was always bothered by not having children, so Su Qingni simply took him to an orphanage and sponsored many children. She also donated half of Su Yang's monthly salary to the orphanage. Of course Su Qingni donated more. The two sponsored many orphans in their lives, and when they left this world, all the sponsored orphans scattered across the country came to attend their memorial service, with a total of thousands of people. After passers-by learned about the identities of the orphans and the good deeds of the two, they were in awe of Su Yang and his friends, and spontaneously entered the memorial service to bid farewell to them. This incident was posted online by reporters, allowing more people to know about Su Yang's actions and gain more praise. These praises turned into two energies that flew into the void, chasing after the two powerful people who left. I am the dividing line for crossing again. Su Qingni had just crossed over, and before she received her memories, she heard a woman's voice, "We divorce." "Okay." Su Qingni immediately said. That's his mother. She possessed the man again. As a man with a daughter's heart, he couldn't get hard in front of other women. How could he be married to someone? Moreover, Taia was reborn in every world, starting from a baby, which resulted in him not being as tricky as Su Qingni, who sometimes attached himself to a man. Taia was reborn as a man every time. Therefore, the woman in front of her was definitely not her Taia, and of course she had to quickly sever her relationship with this woman. When the woman heard what Su Qingni said, she was stunned. She didn't expect Su Qingni to agree to divorce her. Wasn't he coveting their family's property? Why did he agree to divorce so readily? Wouldn't he be retreating to advance? The woman stared at Su Qingni suspiciously. Su Qingni blinked, and had completely accepted the memory of her body. The original body was called Su said, a golden phoenix that flew out of a mountain nest, and also a phoenix man. Su said's family was very poor, but he worked hard and was admitted to a prestigious university. Because he looked good, he was spotted by a rich girl named Dong Rulin in college and began to pursue her. Later, the two became boyfriend and girlfriend. Dong Rulin's family had a lot of money and was willing to spend money on her boyfriend, so Su Se never worried about tuition fees again. After graduating from college, Su Se married Dong Rulin and went to work in Dong Rulin's company. Su Se was capable, and his father-in-law was interested in training this son-in-law. After all, Dong Rulin was an only child and was not interested in the company's affairs. Dong's father wanted to train his son-in-law and take over the company in the future. Now Su Se has been in the company for 2 years and has performed very well in the company. He has been recognized by Dong's father and a group of shareholders. Su Se was just an ordinary employee when he joined the company. Now he has become a department manager with his own skills. I believe that in 2 years he will be able to become the general manager and become the right-hand man of his father-in-law. At home, Dong Rulin gave Su Se a daughter who just turned 1 year old a month ago. His career and family are very happy, and he can be said to be a winner in life. Who would have thought that more than half a month ago, such days are gone forever? Dong Rulin didn't know how she suddenly seemed to have changed. In the past, Dong Rulin was full of love for Su Se, but now Dong Rulin looked at Su Se with hatred and contempt. Because of Dong Rulin's attitude, Dong's father and mother thought that Su Se had done something wrong to their daughter, and their attitude towards Su Se also changed. Su Se was made difficult by Su's father when he was in the company. In order to deal with Su's father's difficulties, Su Se had to put more energy into his work, often working overtime until late, and not being able to rest well. When he returned home, he saw his wife who treated him coldly and even treated him like an enemy, and Su Se was even more tired. Physically tired, mentally tired, and mentally tired. This led to physical problems in Su Se. It turned out that Su Se had a hidden heart disease, which was not obvious before, and he himself did not find it. Now there are signs, but because of the double troubles of family and work, Su Se has no time and mood to go to the hospital for a physical examination, and just wants to endure it. Who would have thought that this patience would cost him his life? Dong Rulin suddenly ran to Su Se and said that he wanted a divorce. Although Su Se was mentally prepared by Dong Rulin's attitude before, he was still stimulated by the word divorce. He had a heart attack and died just like that, leaving his body to Su Qingni. Su Qingni looked up at Dong Rulin and nodded. I agree to divorce. Oh, this is another person who has been reborn. I just don't know what the original body did to offend Dong Rulin in his previous life, which led to his divorce from the original body after his rebirth, and he also wanted to take revenge on the original body. But if you think about it, you can think of most of the things. The original body, the Phoenix Man, got the Dong family's company after marrying Dong Rulin, and turned the Dong family's company into Su's. In the future, he treated Dong Rulin badly, found a mistress and gave birth to an illegitimate child, and finally handed over the company and industry to the mistress's child. Su Qingni blinked, and her eyes immediately became extremely deep, like two whirlpools, sucking Dong Rulin's mind into them. Well, this world is just an ordinary technological world, and many powers cannot be used, but hypnotizing a person can still be done. According to Dong Rulin, Su Se did many things that were sorry to Dong Rulin and the Dong family in his previous life. Half a year later, Su Se will bring his parents from his hometown to live in the city. Su's father and mother valued boys over girls, and were very dissatisfied with Dong Rulin for only giving birth to a daughter, and they didn't like her as a daughter-in-law. Coupled with the differences in concepts and living habits, Dong Rulin and Su's mother had more than one conflict. However, Su Se, a filial son, has always helped his biological mother, which made Dong Rulin very dissatisfied. Su's mother urged Dong Rulin to give birth to a son, but Dong Rulin didn't want to get pregnant again for the sake of her daughter and to maintain her figure. Su's mother was even more dissatisfied with Dong Rulin, so she wanted to find a daughter-in-law who was satisfactory to her and willing to give birth to her grandson, so that her son could divorce Dong Rulin. So Su's mother began to select candidates for future daughter-in-law. After Dong Rulin found out, she had another fierce quarrel with Su's mother. Although Su Se reprimanded Su's mother for her wrong behavior, he still sided with his mother in his attitude and asked his wife to apologize to her mother and get along well with her in the future. In Su Se's view, his mother raised him up and suffered enough. Now he has to treat his mother well so that she can enjoy her later years. Although his mother did something wrong, his wife pointed out her mistakes. How could she quarrel with her mother? This is unfilial. Chapter 898 I am Phoenix Male 2nd. In Dong Rulin's view, Su Se's partiality for Su's mother meant that he agreed with Su's mother's approach and wanted to find other women. Dong Rulin went back to her parents' home in a rage and complained to her parents. After hearing Dong Rulin's biased complaint, Dong's father and mother were naturally furious. Dong's father decided to embarrass Su Se in the company, letting him know that he was living on the Dong family. If he didn't treat the Dong family's daughter well, Su Se and the Su family would not have a good life. After embarrassing Su Se for 2 days, Su Se was busy and recognized his mistakes. He came to the Dong family to apologize to Dong Rulan and took Dong Rulan back to the Su family. After the entire Su family treated Dong Rulan like the old Buddha, Dong's father and mother went on a business trip with satisfaction. As a result, the two met with a car accident halfway and both died. All the Dong family's industries and companies became Dong Rulan's. Dong Rulan didn't like to manage the company, so she naturally handed the company over to her husband. Su Se was very capable, and it didn't take long for him to take control of the Dong family company and make the company even stronger. Everyone in the company recognized Su Se as the new leader of the company, and didn't care about Dong Rulan, the daughter of the former chairman. Dong Rulan no longer had her parents as a backer, and Su's mother's attitude towards her changed. She no longer held her and tolerated her as before, and began to be picky about her, forcing her to have a second child and give birth to a son. Dong Rulan was sad enough after losing her parents, and was treated like this by Su's mother. Dong Rulan exploded and pushed Su's mother hard, causing Su's mother to fall, hit the ground with the back of her head, and bleed in the brain. Although she was rescued, she suffered a stroke and became paralyzed. Su Se had a big fight with Dong Rulan because of this matter, and showed disappointment in his wife. After that, the relationship between Su Se and Dong Rulan became worse and worse. In order to save her husband, Dong Rulan had to compromise and decided to have another son. Just when Dong Rulan was pregnant, Su Se fell in love with his secretary. The secretary was also a golden phoenix that flew out of the countryside. She had a lot in common with Su Se and was deeply loved by Su's mother. Su's mother was very eager to match Su Se with his secretary, and she never thought that there was a daughter-in-law like Dong Rulan. When Dong Rulan was 5 months pregnant, she found out more about the intimate behavior between Su Se and the secretary, and rushed out in anger to beat Su Se and the secretary. Su Se felt sorry for his wife, and Dong Rulan was pregnant again, so he did not do it, and let Dong Rulan beat and scold him, but just protected the secretary. Although the secretary was unhappy about being beaten by Dong Rulan, she did not dare to resist when she saw Dong Rulan's big belly, for fear that Dong Rulan would have an accident. Pregnant women are the most difficult to mess with. But Su's mother was not satisfied. Dong Rulan beat and scolded her son, and it was Dong Rulan who caused her to be in a wheelchair. She hated Dong Rulan so much that she went forward to stop Dong Rulan and pushed Dong Rulan away. The force of this was very strong, and Dong Rulan happened to be standing at the stairs on the 2nd floor. So Dong Rulan rolled down the stairs, and the baby in her belly could not be saved. Dong Rulan also had heavy bleeding and lost her life. After Dong Rulan died, she became a ghost floating in the Su family. She saw Su Se change Dong's company into Su's company, saw Su Se marry as secretary, saw the secretary give birth to a son for Su Se, saw Su Se finally hand over Su's company to the son born by the secretary, but kicked her daughter out of the house. Why? The Su family's business came from the Dong family. The Su family's business should belong to her daughter. The daughter only took action against Su Se's family of 3 to avenge her and to get back what belonged to her. She did nothing wrong. Why did Su Se kick her daughter out of the house? Dong Rulan was so angry that she hated Su Se completely. She even suspected that Su Se was responsible for the car accident of Dong's father and mother. Otherwise, why was it so coincidental that Dong's father made things difficult for Su Se, and he and Dong's father had a car accident? Dong Rulan suspected that Su Se had a wolfish ambition and fell in love with her and married her just for the Dong family's property. After getting the Dong family's property, she would get rid of the Dong family and turn herself from a poor boy with no money into a rich man. Dong Rulan hated it. She attributed the death of her parents, her own death and her daughter's misfortune to Su Se, and she wanted to kill him. But ghosts cannot touch living people. When Dong Rulan was so angry that she was about to explode, she suddenly saw black in front of her eyes, and when she opened her eyes again, she found that she was reborn. She was reborn when her daughter was just 1 year old. Everything had not happened yet, and Dong's father and mother were still alive. Dong Rulan wanted to kill Su Se at that time, but she quickly suppressed this idea. Murder is illegal, and she can't go to jail for Su Se, a scumbag. She was reborn to live a good life with her parents and daughter, but she can't ruin herself for a scumbag. Even if she wants to kill the scumbag, she doesn't have to do it herself. The means by which the scumbag killed her parents in the previous life can be repaid on the scumbag. The scumbag taught her a truth: as long as you have money, you can buy other people's lives. Dong Rulan decided to divorce Su Se and let him leave the house. See what a dead dog he will become without money and a future. When she has had enough of Su Se's miserable appearance, she will have someone kill him. Su Qingni pinched her chin and looked at the woman with a ferocious expression in front of her. Dong Rulan's hatred is not fake. It seems that she did have a bad life in her previous life. Being hypnotized, Dong Rulan would not tell lies. But Su Qingni has the memory of the original body. Looking at the growth history of the original body, although the original body is not particularly positive, he is also a good young man who grew up under the red flag. He would never kill his parents-in-law or seize his wife's family property. The original body respects and thanks his parents-in-law from the bottom of his heart, and it is impossible for him to kill them for money. Besides, Dong's father and mother only have one daughter, Dong Rulan. After their death, the company and property rights belong to Dong Rulan. As Dong Rulan's husband, it is natural for Su Se to take over the Dong family company. Su Se is not so stupid to kill people in order to get the company sooner or later. From Dong Rulan's account, the reason for the failure of the marriage of the two people, Su's mother, who messed up the situation, was at least half due to Dong Rulan. Dong Rulan has never accepted Su Se's relatives as her own, and she even looked down on Su Se's relatives and friends. How could Su Se accept this? Su Se is a phoenix man, but he can't be the scumbag with a wolf's heart and a dog's lungs, as Dong Rulan said. Su Qingni felt that Dong Rulan was overthinking. Su Qingni asked, "What kind of person is your daughter?" Dong Rulan started to praise her daughter. In the eyes of her as a mother, there was nothing wrong with her daughter. If there was anything wrong, it was because of Su Se and the secretary. Su Qingni raised her eyebrows and asked, "Oh, how did they force your daughter? What did they force your daughter into?" Chapter 899 I Am Phoenix Man 3. Apart from Dong Rulan's various boasts and positive modifications of her daughter, Su Qingni judged that Dong Rulan's daughter Su Mingming was not a child. Perhaps it was because of family reasons that this girl learned bad things, but this is really not a good girl. Su Mingming hated the secretary Lin Ya for taking her mother's position and had a very bad attitude towards Lin Ya. Lin Ya tolerated this and did not care about her child. After all, Lin Ya did something really not bright. When Dong Rulan was pregnant, she seduced Su Se and indirectly killed Dong Rulan. Because of Dong Rulan's death, the Su family was very tolerant of Su Mingming. Even if Su's mother didn't like her granddaughter, she tolerated this granddaughter bossing around in front of her. Su Mingming was the little ancestor of the Su family for a period of time until his younger brother Su Mingtao was born. Su's father and mother, who valued sons over daughters, were very happy and regarded Su Mingtao as a little ancestor. And Su Se, influenced by his parents, actually valued sons over daughters. Before Su Mingtao was born, he attached great importance to Su Mingming and doted on her, but after his son was born, most of his attention was on his son. Su Mingming was angry, and she decided to kill her brother so that her father's attention would return to her. Only she was her father's baby. So the child attacked her brother. Fortunately, Lin Ya found out in time and saved her son, so that he was not smothered to death by Su Mingming with a pillow. Su Mingming was only 8 years old at the time, but she was able to be cruel to her brother, which made Su Se really unacceptable and disappointed in this daughter. Su's mother said that Su Mingming inherited the blood of her biological mother and was not a good person in her bones. Su Mingming's biological mother was able to attack her mother-in-law and cripple her mother-in-law. Isn't it normal for her biological daughter to do something to hurt her brother? Su's mother asked Su Se to send Su Mingming away, so that Su Mingming would not take advantage of their inattention to attack Su Mingtao again. Su's mother and Lin Ya supported this decision very much. Su's father thought about sending Su Mingming to the countryside and adopting him to relatives who had no children. But Su Se couldn't bear to part with his daughter. Even if Su Mingming did something wrong, she was still his daughter, Su said, with his blood flowing in her body. He didn't want to give Su Mingming away. Finally, he came up with a compromise. Su Se sent Su Mingming to boarding school and took her home on weekends. She only stayed at the Su family for a little more than 1 day a week. With other people in the Su family watching, Su Mingming would not do anything out of line. Su Mingming thought that she was abandoned by Su Se, so she hated her biological father. She hated everyone in the Su family. Because of these hatreds, Su Mingming began to degenerate and took the money Su Se gave her to do all kinds of things. From elementary school to high school, she drove fast, smoked, bullied classmates, and even took DU. She did all kinds of bad things. She caused a female classmate to jump off the building and became disabled. If Su Se hadn't paid to help her settle this matter, Su Mingming would have gone to jail. Su Se was very annoyed with Su Mingming because of this matter. He felt that he couldn't ignore his daughter, so he began to discipline Su Mingming. Su Mingming refused to obey, so Su Se threatened her to surrender by suspending her bank card. Su Mingming realized the importance of money. For the sake of money, she pretended to obey Su Se's discipline and was sent abroad to study at a university. During those years abroad, Su Mingming still did not change her bad habits, but she learned to disguise herself, so that Su Se really thought that his daughter had changed for the better. After returning to China, Su Mingming joined the company. She always knew that the company was left by her grandfather, so she regarded the company as her own property. She didn't know that Su Se would train Su Mingtao with all his strength and wanted Su Mingtao to be his heir. In the future, the company and the family business would belong to Su Mingtao, and she could only get a little share at most. How could Su Mingming bear this? The evil thoughts in her heart rose again. This time, Su Mingming wanted to kill not only Su Mingtao, but also Su Se, Su Mingtao and Linyak, so that the company and the Su family's family business would all belong to her. As for Su's mother and father, they died a few years ago. Su Mingming, like her biological mother, thought that money could buy lives. For money, there would be many guys who would help her kill Su Se and the other two. So Su Se's family of 3 had a car accident. Fortunately, although they were seriously injured, the safety of the car was very good and saved their lives. Su Se realized that something was wrong and that what they encountered was not an ordinary car accident. So Su Se asked someone to start an investigation. Su Se could give more money, so Su Mingming was found out. Su Se did not expect that Su Mingming was so vicious that she would even kill her own father. He was completely desperate for this daughter and drove Su Mingming out of the Su family. When Dong Rulin talked about this period, she was talking about how biased Su Se was and how bad he was. But Su Qingni extracted clues from her words and restored the facts. She really had no good feelings for Su Mingming. Therefore, when Dong Rulin was released from hypnosis and said that she wanted her daughter to be hers, Su Qingni agreed without hesitation. First, she didn't want to raise a child, and second, she wanted to see what Su Mingming would look like in this life with her biological mother and grandparents taking care of her. Would she learn bad things like in her previous life? I wonder if Su Mingming can prove the two views that human nature is evil or good? Dong Rulin didn't know that she had been hypnotized for a long time, and her past was exposed by the person in front of her. Although she was surprised by Su Qingni's happiness, she still didn't believe that Su Qingni would really let go easily. She always thought that Su Se coveted the Duong family's property. In order to prevent Su Qingni from regretting, she urged Su Qingni to go to the civil bureau with her to go through the divorce procedures. Su Qingni followed Dong Rulin without saying a word. After completing the procedures, Su Qingni went home and just took her own gifts and left. This made Dong Rulin stunned for a long time. When Dong Rulin returned to the Duong family, Dong's father and mother saw their daughter's stunned look, and hurriedly asked Dong Rulin with concern, asking her what happened. "Did that kid Su Se bully you again?" Dong's father asked angrily. Dong Rulin shook her head and said, "We are divorced." "What? Divorced?" Dong's mother screamed, "Why are you divorced? Why is it so frivolous?" She thought her daughter and son-in-law were just quarreling and having conflicts. This kind of thing is very common between couples. She and Dong's father also quarreled often. The reason why they made things difficult for Su Se was just to vent their anger for their daughter and let Su Se understand that since he was relying on the Duong family, he should treat their daughter better. They didn't want the young couple to divorce. After the divorce, their daughter would become second-hand goods. It would be more difficult to find a good man. I'm afraid they won't find a better one than Su Se. Chapter 900 I Am Phoenix Man 4. Father Dong and Mother Dong are quite satisfied with Su Se as their son-in-law. Father Dong has been working in the business world for decades and has seen a lot of people. He has a good eye for people, at least better than Dong Rulin. Father Dong can accept Su Se as his son-in-law because he thinks Su Se is a good person and he feels at ease handing over his daughter and company to Su Se. Now that he heard that his daughter was divorcing Su Se, and thinking of his daughter's attitude and willfulness a few days ago, Father Su thought that his daughter was being willful again this time. Just like she was willful to marry Su Se, it must be that his daughter has lost interest in Su Se at this moment, so she willfully chose to divorce. But can marriage be so willful? Dong's father scolded Dong Rulin with a stern face. Nonsense. Marriage is not a joke. You can get married if you want and divorce if you want. What will you do in the future if you divorce so capriciously? Dong's mother persuaded Dong Rulin. Yes, Rulin, if you don't consider yourself, you have to consider Mingming. Besides, Su said is a really good kid and treats you very well. You will never find a man who treats you so well in the future. Listen to mom, go find Su Se tomorrow and remarry quickly. Dong Rulin didn't expect that her parents had such a good impression of Su Se, even better than her as a daughter. I think in the previous life, because of this good impression, her parents were not on guard against Su Se and were easily killed by him. Mom and dad, you have all been deceived by Su Se. His current appearance is all pretended. He's a wolf with a heart and a lung. Dong Rulin said. Father Dong frowned. Rulin, I think I can judge people well. Su Se is a good person and won't be an ungrateful person. Don't blame others for your mistakes. I didn't. Dong Rulin was angry. Why didn't her parents believe her but believed Su Se, the ungrateful person? Dong Rulin thought that if she didn't explain it clearly, her parents would not be able to get through it, so she told Father Dong and Mother about her experience in her previous life. Father Dong and Mother Dong looked at each other, and after a while Mother Dong spoke. Rulin, you didn't take the nightmare seriously, did you? I didn't. Dong Rulin shouted, it's true, it's true. Seeing that Father Dong and Mother Dong still looked unconvinced, Dong Rulin was about to vomit blood. She turned her sight and saw the news on TV, and immediately thought of a way to prove herself. Mom and Dad, you watched the news. Dong Rulin told the follow-up of a piece of news, which would happen a few days later. She first announced it to prove that she was not lying. A few days later, Dong's father and mother saw the follow-up of the news, and it was exactly the same as what their daughter said. The two people's faces darkened. Dong's mother hugged Dong Rulin and cried, saying that Dong Rulin had suffered so much. Then she hugged Su Mingming and cried for her granddaughter. Dong's father had a gloomy face, and there was murderous intent in his eyes. Being able to start a large company from scratch, Dong's father was not a soft-hearted person. He had done some things in the dark in the early stage. Now that he heard that his life ended in Su Se's hands, how could he not be angry? He had a murderous intention towards Su Se. Su Se wanted to kill him, so he would take the initiative and kill Su Se first. Dong's father had more connections than Dong Rulin, so it was naturally easier for him to get rid of someone than Dong Rulin. After making a decision, Dong's father put away his murderous intention and said to Dong Rulin, Mingming is her child. She must not take the surname of Su Se, the ungrateful wolf. From now on, her surname will be Dong. Yes, Dad. That's what I plan to do too. Dong Rulin nodded. After Su Qingni divorced Dong Rulin, she took the initiative to resign and left the Dong family company. She did not look for another job. With the influence of the Dong family in the city, many companies would not hire her again, so why should she waste time? Su Qingni decided to leave the city. Staying in the city would only be targeted by the Dong family. This was revenge in Dong Rulin's eyes, but it was unreasonable in Su Qingni's eyes. Dong Rulin didn't know the truth of the matter. She only saw a little bit of the surface and imagined that Su Se was sorry for her and the Dong family. Even if Su Qingni explained it to her bit by bit, she would not believe it. Dong Rulin actually had the sign of madness. This kind of madman is the most unreasonable, so she should stay away from him. Su Qingni was making plans for the future, but she didn't expect the Dong family to act so quickly. A car accident happened right in front of her. After leaving the Dong family, Su Qingni had no car and could only take a taxi when going out. He didn't expect the Dong family to be so cruel. In order to take his life, even innocent taxi drivers were not spared. Seeing the huge truck rushing towards the taxi frantically, Su Qingni quickly jumped from the back seat to the passenger seat, grabbed the driver's steering wheel, stepped on the accelerator, and made various drifting movements to avoid the impact of the truck. The truck would not stop until Su Qingni was killed, chasing the taxi and performing a life and death speed on the street. Fortunately, this is a semi-abandoned old city with few pedestrians, otherwise I don't know how much damage would be caused. In the end, Su Qingni drove the taxi to avoid the most crazy impact of the truck, but the truck itself did not avoid it and directly hit an abandoned building. The front of the truck was completely smashed, and the driver was injured and unconscious. Su Qingni glanced at the stunned and frightened taxi driver, took out her mobile phone and called the police. The police uncle came quickly, sent the injured truck driver to the hospital, and took Su Qingni and the taxi driver to the police station to record a statement. Although it is a semi-abandoned old city, there are still surveillance cameras. After watching the surveillance video, the police uncle knew that all the faults were on the truck driver. This was a deliberate murder. They quickly asked Su Qingni if she had any enemies. Su Qingni was very honest in telling the story of Dong Rulan's divorce from her. The police officers looked at each other in bewilderment. It was too cruel to kill her ex-husband after the divorce. A female police officer couldn't help asking, "Are you looking for a mistress outside? Do you have an illegitimate child? Do you want to conspire with a mistress to murder your original wife?" Su Qingni glanced at the female police officer and said lightly, "Comrade, don't read too many novels, and don't bring the plots in novels into reality. You can investigate whether I have a mistress." The female police officer was choked. Although she was a little unhappy, she still apologized to Su Qingni. Su Qingni waved her hand to show that she didn't care. After making sure that the police officers had no more questions, she left the police station. The taxi driver followed her out. Although the master was not physically injured, he was mentally injured and was scared. Su Qingni felt a little sorry for the master, so she took out all the cash in her wallet, which was more than 2,000, and stuffed it all into the taxi driver. Buy some delicious food to calm your nerves. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.